boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah,
Chick,
boy.
chick, chick. I know what quote I'm gonna do, but I gotta look it up real quick.
Okay. Am I guessing again?
Yeah. You'll probably know this one.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I knew the last one. Wait, did you have to help me a little with that last
I did
one?
have to help you a little because I
did hear the quote before too.
It was super short, but I had to give the rest of the interaction.
Yeah.
Because it was two people talking to each other. Like
Yeah.
the main quote is like the response to someone else.
It's funny too because I think I'd seen that on Facebook, like a Facebook reel or a Facebook post. Tarantino pops up on my Facebook all the time.
I'm doing the
Okay.
beep boop pop. Hello everyone and welcome to the 29th episode of the Neon Crew podcast. My name is Kyle.
And I'm 32.
Hey, congrats.
We're catching up.
Yeah, dude. This podcast is almost as old as you are.
That's what I'm saying. It's nuts.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. I can't wait till I can take it out.
Yeah, right?
You know.
You'll be able to put this in a retirement home before you even reach 50.
Yeah. I'll be right now I'm thinking I'll be able to show it how to do its taxes and maybe an oil change.
It's right around that age where it's like purchasing its first house, you know?
Yeah.
It just got like a job that it uses their degree for that they graduated from college.
Or it's now you're getting to that point where you're making decisions and it's like, do I get that video game or do I save the $50 because I know I have 3 subscriptions I have to pay for?
Yeah.
You know?
Is the new Madden game worth it?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Just staring at it, trying to make a choice.
Yeah. I don't know why I went with Madden. I pulled a
It's all right. I'm a
video
football
game out of my
guy.
ass.
Yeah, no, it's there.
Yeah.
Name 3 other sports games. No.
Oh, let me try. There's FIFA. FIFA's a big one.
Yep.
And then NBA 2K.
Yep.
Okay. So I got them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
This is
That's
mostly
all
just
of 'em.
like secondhand, like hearing people talk about them.
Sure, walking through the aisles.
Yeah. I think I've played Madden like twice in my life.
You've played Madden.
Well, played, air quotes. Mostly just me fumbling the controls and not knowing what the hell I'm doing.
Against your uncle or something?
Against my cousins.
Oh, yeah.
Because they like to play. They're sporty. They're big sporty boys.
Got it.
They played football in high school.
Okay.
And me playing Madden was probably a lot like how I would play football in real life. I just don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I'm super embarrassed, and I just want to walk away.
Yep. And then they force you to sit there and finish it out.
Yep. That's how my life is. I'm going to read a quote, and you're going to guess who said this.
All right.
I don't see them. I tried, but that's not cinema. Honestly, the closest I can think of them, as well made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, is theme parks. It isn't cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being. That's
Scorsese.
Yep.
On Marvel films.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is Scorsese's take on Marvel. And a lot of Marvel fanboys got a little upsetty spaghetti when he said...
I could see that.
When he said that quote.
Fanboys are actually like the directors. I don't think the directors
Some of the actors kind of like... jabbed at him a little bit like, oh, you're an old man, you're out of touch,
Oh yeah, that's a boomer. That's a nice little boomer comeback, right?
Yeah. It's like, get out of here, old man.
Yeah, scram.
What are you gonna be like, David Lynch now on your fucking phone? I
don't know. I think I don't necessarily agree with him, but I don't disagree.
Yeah, I'm in the same exact boat. I think it's easy to see his side of it because he's been in the industry for so long. Like
all the guys, I think the way that they talk now, it's easy to see their side of it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's like the fact that he makes movies that are so character driven and a lot about like just like human complexities and like just how people treat each other. Like that's the core of his movies.
Yes.
And then you go and see a Marvel movie and a lot of it is spectacle. A lot of it is very much like what you see on screen, like the characters physically doing.
Yep.
Not necessarily what it makes you think about or the sort of psychological takeaway you get from it or whatever other movies like Martin Scorsese's offer,
Yes. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, too, I mean, technically, Marvel movies are cinema in a way. They're just not cinema, you know? They're not like...
They are. I mean, it's what we always say. There's a million ways to draw the picture. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that, you know, if you sell it for $100,000 that you're not an artist. I would also say, though, that doesn't make you an artist. Mm-hmm. You know, I think the talent level... I think we used to have the talent level would be the baseline on if we determined if it was cinema or not. Because back then, you know, when he was making films in the 70s and 80s, you didn't have the technology that they do now. So the creativity level is so much higher. But now it's different because, I mean, you have to be pretty creative to see a world without being in that world, you know, and to be able to come up with a lot of the stuff that they come up with now. But
yeah,
I mean, I know where he's coming from, and spectacle is a good way of putting it, because I think definitely it's something that you go and see and you're going to be entertained throughout, but it doesn't make you any more emotional or less emotional. There's really no drive.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a popcorn flick.
You can understand it even more, too, when you think of it the context of, like, how you go see the movie, like, in terms of, oh, I'm going to get D-box seats to see Iron Man 3, and it's going to shake me around, and
yeah,
there's going to be... I'm going to bring, like, all these snacks and stuff. It's like, I don't know, like, you can easily see it, like, being compared to a theme park that way and understand, like, where he's coming from.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's more of like a, I don't want to say it's like a, hey, old man, shut up type deal. Mm-hmm. But I also think that that's an opinion that you just kind of keep to yourselves. And when you're at a dinner party and you're going through why you hate Marvel films, you tell your friends. Yeah. And then everyone kind of agrees silently. A lot of head nodding. Let him finish this out. Yeah. He's not right or wrong, but we don't need to get into an argument. Yeah, he's more passionate than I am about this being.
We need to change the subject real quickly. Let's just let Uncle Terry just get through it.
Yeah. Just everyone just, and because you're like, a lot of points in there I agree with, but I think it's kind of for the wrong reason.
You're not wrong, Uncle Terry, but wrong place, wrong time.
It's still cinema, you know. It's just it is geared more towards entertainment than it is, you know, having.
It's like whatever type of audience you want to curate. So like Marvel movies, they curate a type of audience that like those movies and like to go see them, you know. Mm-hmm. And same with Martin Scorsese. He has a certain type of audience that likes to go see his movies.
I mean, it's just the best example I could come up with is a little skit that you put together with the Van Gogh. I mean, remember when the guy grabbed Van Gogh and was like, look at it. This is utterly horrifying.
Yes.
And Van Gogh's now in the Grand Rapids Museum, and there's, you know, 5,000 pieces of art that you can go and look at that people pay money to see. So, I mean, at the time, people were like, this isn't what art is. Yeah. But it really is. I mean, that's the same thing I think with cinema, is that it's such a broad category.
It's very subjective.
Yeah, that you can't. There's movies that I've never heard of that people watch that are 30 minutes long that you could classify as cinema. I mean, I don't know, maybe unless cinema has a definite definition.
I think it's one of those terminology things, like cinema, movies, film. Like it's all the same. It's just people have a sort of different resonance in their head when you say a specific type of word. Yeah. Like you say movie, I think most people typically think of like big blockbusters. You say cinema, people tend to, I think of like the more broad aspect of like what goes into making a movie.
We're just talking pictures, right?
Yes.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it is about movies. It's not like the biggest world-ending thing. And also, Martin Scorsese's not telling people to not go see those movies. Yeah. He's just saying his opinion on it.
Yep.
So you can't really get too mad at him for stating what he thinks.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think that's a dinner party conversation that you have, not I'm going to tell the world, because you come off as a boomer when you do that stuff. And just more evidence of older directors being out of touch.
Yeah, or like just the changing nature of movies as a whole. Which, I mean, there's always going to be stuff for any kind of audience, you know. It's always going to be out there. That kind of thing is always going to be made. Yeah. It's just you got to sometimes look for it a little harder than you used to, you know. There's a lot more different genres and subgenres and all these different sort of films that, you know, you just dig your teeth into and see what you can find.
Yep. Yeah,
see what you can scrape together.
More trash being produced now just because people are so ADD.
Yeah. it's a lot easier to make movies too. That's the thing. Like it used to be
production houses and being able to get the resources and finding actors, and
used to be you wanted to make a movie, you had to fucking work your ass for it. And now like most people have access to cameras, you know, everybody's got a phone nowadays.
Yep.
And you can record, and like there's all sorts of different music you can use online that's like royalty free. Like people have access to making movies way more than they used to. Like,
100%.
And it's there's stuff out there you can find that is gold, but you got to dig through it.
Yeah.
So there's an audience for anything. Speaking of Marvel movies and Venom, I guess.
Our boy.
Do you want to take away? It's your boy. So do you want to take away this story?
I haven't read up on it. I figured it was like one of those articles where it's probably like 3 paragraphs with like a redundant sentence that's used in each paragraph.
Yeah.
Of he won.
Yeah. There's not much like detail I feel like you can touch on with this.
And
it's just interesting.
Yeah, and it's not like it hops it. Yeah, I don't know if you be. Here's the thing. This is what I don't know is okay. So everyone, we're talking about WWTHD,
Tom Hardy,
and what the fuck WWTHD would do is just go out and win gold in a freaking Brazilian jiu-jitsu competition.
Yep. So the story I have pulled up reads: Tom Hardy won first place as a surprise competitor at the 2022 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Open Championship.
I mean, like. So my first thing was, and this is why I didn't read the article, because I was like, they're not going to give me the details that I want.
No.
Did he go out and face like a bunch of guys that are part-time, you know, like like in the 90s, karate took over and you could do karate tournaments, and it was just, you know, everyone wanted to learn karate, and it was good for your mind, and it created discipline, and everyone just swept, you know, so anyone could compete in a karate tournament. Like, was that this? And I'm not saying jiu-jitsu is like everyone can compete, but there's obviously like different tiers of talent that you're going to be going against.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he was going against people that train like 24/7, or if it was like, you know, I do this Tuesdays, some Thursday nights, and then Saturdays I can get an extra 2 hours in.
Yeah. I don't really know the whole details about like how much the participants were like invested in that sort of thing. Like I don't have an idea of like, oh, this is my life, or like you said, this is like a side thing. But I mean, if it's a jiu-jitsu open championship, I have to assume that most of the participants do that for a good majority of their time. Like that's something that they train for, that's something that they practice for. Like a lot of them are just athletes, and that's probably all they are. And then here comes Tom Hardy, who is probably trained for like maybe like a movie role or something, or shit, maybe he did it for shits and giggles. I don't know. But
I had a hard time. Do you remember when James Franco was out on everything? He wrote a book. He came up with like 2 movie series. Someone said they found him driving an Uber, and then there was like stories that he was addicted to Adderall. So there's a lot of like, you know, everyone thinks that it's a problem that he has, that he keeps working like this. I don't know if Tom Hardy is like just, you know, this is a hobby that I have, or if he's going off the deep end with trying to challenge himself and like a bunch of different aspects of life.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, he could totally just be doing it for fun. And I mean, if he is, good for him.
Yeah.
Like he's somebody who like watching his movies, even the not good ones like Venom, you can tell that he puts everything into it. And I have no doubt that he took that same approach when doing this jiu-jitsu competition.
100%. Yeah.
Like he seems like somebody who kind of like those like shitty Facebook memes sort of emulate, like with the quotes over him. Like he's got the drive, he's got the ambition, he buckles down, he's a hard ass working man, you know?
Yep.
Even though he's a wealthy celebrity.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if he had like an apartment in like London or something like that and drove like 2013 like Chevrolet.
Probably does.
You know, like just like, yeah, I got all the money, but it's never been, I'm just really passionate about doing movies. It's never been about, you know, I want the fame. That's why I only take on projects that I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and then it probably what happens is his manager's like, oh, this would be really good for you. And that's when you see him mail in.
Yeah.
You know.
Venom. But because of the whole like competition and like the images that have come about it, like people have been commenting saying that he should play the next Wolverine because of like his sort of gruff, kind of like almost grizzled exterior. I shouldn't even say almost, it is grizzled. Yeah. He's like a very kind of sweaty, muscle bound dude. I mean, he played Bane. Yeah.
I there was a TikTok video. There's a TikTok video that came out by the guy that he beat. It's pretty funny.
Oh, I watched that one.
Have you seen it? Where the guy's like talking as the guy that's like going against Tom Hardy.
POV, you're the participant that's up against Tom Hardy in the jiu-jitsu competition.
And there's a guy that's just going, Tom, stop.
Tom, stop. My wife is here. My wife is here. Tom, please.
Thomas, stop it right now. oh, there's an opening. Oh, God, I'm down on the ground against Tom fucking Hardy. Yeah.
That was pretty amusing.
I watched. I had no idea what was going on. I just saw that it said he competed in this jiu-jitsu tournament, and it showed him going against a guy, and I was like, oh, good for him. And then all of a sudden, it's like 2 days later, like, he won the whole thing.
Yeah. I remember seeing that video and having the same exact thought. I was like, oh, this is bringing me memories of 2 days ago. Cool.
Yeah. So that's and Tom, if you're listening, congratulations.
Yes. WWTHD, apparently he would win a gold medal.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Kicking everyone's ass. Love you, Tom.
There's a reason why he's the outro of our whole shtick.
Dude. When he did you've seen Bronson, right? Yeah. Yeah. Bronson, when we saw Bronson way back in 2009, I want to say that's when the whole thing took off. Because, I mean, he was in that. He did Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I saw him in Rock and Rolla.
Inception.
Yeah, Inception was like his next big role, and then he kind of did a couple crappy films. Let's talk about those.
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. That one, not so crappy. Not so great.
Not so iconic, I will say.
Yes.
For better or worse.
Scene logistics.
Yeah. God, I want to talk about those movies sometime soon.
Yeah, and I'll have to. Ebbers, I think it's Robert Ebbers or Eggers. I don't remember.
Eggers.
Eggers. Well, it's the guy that does the films that I saw on YouTube. That broke down. He's the guy that gave me the phrase "scene logistics." And I was like, oh yes. Now there is a description on how this, like, what we're seeing. Yeah. But
just inconsistencies.
Yes.
Dark Knight Rises is chock full of them.
Oh my God, they're all.
Yeah, that one even more so though.
I bet you Christopher Nolan hates those films.
I don't know. Like, it's interesting because I not to get like too lost in the Dark Knight franchise, but I rewatched them. Well, I watched the first one and the third one for the first time, and then I rewatched the second one along with them because I watched The Batman, and then after that I was like, I want to watch the Nolan movies, and so I did. And like the first one was very, like, it wasn't anything like super crazy, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, it's an okay origin story. Yeah. And then The Dark Knight Rises I still really enjoyed, like super good. Like the pacing of that is really well done compared to the other two. And then The Dark Knight Rises I watched in not nearly as like put together as the other two films. Even the first one, like, it's so messy. Like, it's super inconsistent. Like, the writing just, like, it drops off of a cliff compared to the last two movies. Yeah. Also, audience, if you're wondering why my voice is dying, I'm a little sick, so bear with me as you listen. But yeah, either this will sound really sexy or really fucking annoying. So I apologize, or you're welcome.
Yeah. No more wetness of the ears when you listen.
Yeah. Just a dry desert. Yeah. Roaming with Timothy Chalamet's just all throughout. Speaking of young actors, actresses, the main actress in this movie we're going to talk about was 12 at the time of filming. I'm talking about Orphan. Woo! 2009. So you recommended we watch the sequel, and then alongside that, we pretty much agreed that we'll watch the other movie. Yeah. Just to kind of give it consistency. Right. So I can get this one if you want to get the second movie.
Perfect. Great.
So this film is Orphan, directed by Jaume Collet-Serra. It stars Vera Farmiga, Peter Sarsgaard, and Isabel Furman, and is about this family who recently went through a lost pregnancy, and so they decide that because of that traumatic experience that they're not going to try for a pregnancy again, that they're going to adopt a child instead, give them a chance at a nice life. And so they go to an orphanage and they adopt this girl called Esther, and they bring her home. And throughout the film, a series of events happen to where the mother starts to look at Esther in a different light, because Esther does all sorts of psychotic, crazy things. Wacky shenanigans happen. And
zany.
Yeah, pretty zany. Pretty zany stuff. And hijinks ensue.
Yes. Yeah. That's
I fucking love that phrase. So yeah, that's the gist of it.
That is the gist of it.
So I'm gonna level with you.
Okay.
Spoilers for Orphan. I knew the twist going into it.
I think it was like there's a thing on Facebook that it said, do you know the character's age while they played these characters? And I, like that was one of them on there, but I think they were doing it for, spoiler, Orphan 2.
Yeah, the second one.
That was all that I had read. It wasn't even like, and it just showed a picture of Esther, and I was like, oh, okay,
Thanks, Facebook.
So, but that's all it said. So it was kind of like when I was watching it, I was like, I'm pretty sure she's going to be older than what she is, but I didn't really. It was like probably if I was a betting man, like I would have thrown some money that was the twist, like probably a decent sum.
Yeah, but I knew two things going into it. I knew the twist, and I knew that she would try to seduce the dad.
I didn't know that all that happening. I was like, this is bizarre.
The way it was portrayed, though, it still fucking threw me for a loop. So, this movie, I thought was really funny. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
It was. There's a lot of head scratching. At one point, I looked at Jasmine and I was like, are you sure this is a horror film? This seems like more suspense thriller than horror.
Yeah, like it wasn't scary. And to me, like it was really goofy in so many spots that I just could not take it seriously.
Oh, you can't.
And the movie itself takes itself seriously, so it's even more funny.
Yeah, where you're like, this is really the bizarre occurrences of things happening, and no one like, oh, you're the crazy mom, because how could a 10-year-old person, girl, do this? And it's like, I don't know, like I just go off of variables. Like we didn't have any problems until she entered our life, and all of a sudden the shit's happening. So like, no, you're just psychotic. It's like, I don't know, nothing's really changed around me.
The dad character is the most daft character I think I've seen in a movie in quite some time.
Skarsgård, and he nailed it.
He's not bad.
No, I don't think anyone. Honestly, I don't think anyone's bad in this film in terms of acting.
The acting is like one of the positives I have of it.
Yes, agreed.
Especially from Isabel Furman. I think that she portrays the character very effectively.
Yes, agreed.
I'm not quite sure what that accent was about, but
Estonia.
I
don't even know where that's at.
That's near Russia,
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many times in this movie, like the structure of it is so repetitive. Like, it's a lot of just her doing some wacky shit, getting in trouble, and then the mom is like, what the fuck are you doing? And then dad comes in, he's like, oh, honey, can't be Esther. She's only 9. Like, it's like that the entire movie, except for the very beginning and the very end. Like, that's the whole movie. It's just that structure. Like, the dad not believing anything that the mom is claiming. Has no reason to not believe her, really.
No, exactly. This girl's only been around for all of 2 weeks. So for him to be immediately and I don't know, maybe psychologically there's an attachment thing that the dad had with the lost kid, that he just all of a sudden projects the kid onto Esther. So as soon as she comes in, he immediately in his head creates 9 years worth of memories to make it that would be about it. I don't know. Jasmine was really creeped out about it, and she's a social worker, counselor, and I'm like, maybe this is something that is possible. I don't. It seems so, not to this level, but for a kid to come in and have this kind of like relationship immediately is maybe feasible, but it's definitely, it's troubled how they portray it.
Well, like it's weird because like I have no issue with that sort of idea of like the dad sort of being a little bit more on like the kid's side.
Right.
But I feel like the way they structured it didn't do it any favors.
No, well, and she's doing all of this shit that is like...
Yeah, it's like so much. Like she pushes the little girl in front of a car. She burns down the treehouse.
Yeah.
She fucking smothers the brother with a pillow in the hospital.
Oh my God. Yeah, that one was like...
It's really like not until it's like right in his face when she tries to seduce him that he's like, whoa, you're not who I thought you were. Like... you did not see any of what previously happened as suspicious. Now all of a sudden it's in your face.
Yeah,
it's such a stupid character.
His character. Yeah, there was really no there. They did him a disservice.
They did, and then the mom being an alcoholic and the dad being a cheater aspect of it did not need to be in it.
I don't think so. They did it to kind of do a severed trust relationship. So, like, you know, we really can't believe it. They do it, I think, so that neither of the characters can believe what the other one's saying.
Yeah.
They just completely, like, cut that trust that they have. Mm-hmm. And then it's just, you know, two different parties kind of battling to, you know, and as long as she has it, I mean, it's kind of effective what she does in terms of strategy with like the relationships and the social network. Because she takes a dad and she gets the mom, you know, the dad to get pissed at the mom and not trust the mom. And then the mom doesn't trust the dad. So if anyone finds out, it's really, she's just got to make sure the dad's good because that's who she wants. And as long as she looks good in his eyes, she don't care what the mom does because she's going to seduce the dad and then kill him.
Yeah.
And eat him.
Eat him.
Like a
gain his youth.
Yeah, like a bee with a spider.
The whole alcohol point though was really weird, especially because there's that scene where she like gets the 2 bottles of wine at the store.
Yeah.
And she like pours only one of them down the drain. Why didn't she pour the other one down the drain?
That's what I said. I'm like, what is she doing? Like, why did she keep that? And
like, it just comes back to bite her in the ass. The husband's like, you had a bottle with you last night. And she's like, I didn't drink it. I had another one. And he's like, bullshit.
Yeah. It was like...
Would have been so easy to just get rid of the other one. Like, save yourself that trouble. If you're going to be deceptive about shit, then fucking why not get rid of all of it?
That's what that's the one I didn't get. I was like, are you saving that for the rainy day? Well, they had to save it for the dad to get drunk later in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The editing of this film was really weird, too. Like, that scene where she, like, drops the book and all the pages go everywhere in the school and she starts screaming. And that camera's just on her.
Yeah.
It was really weird and off-putting.
There's a couple of weird, like, screaming rage fits that she has that I'm like, she got triggered or something. I'm like, yeah, but by what?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I didn't have an issue too much with, like, her screaming, just the way that it was edited. And then also, like, towards the end when she's hunting Vera Farmiga in the house with a knife and... they're like going in different rooms, like trying to like hide, like it's a cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
And the way it's edited, I couldn't tell like, okay, who's in what room? Like how far away is this character in relation to this character? Like what's going on logistically here? Like,
yeah. The suspense, it's hard to have that tension when you don't know the layout and where everyone's at. Mm-hmm. But I honestly think what was going on with this one is because it wasn't so scary. They had a lot of jump cuts. So for you to be disoriented, they had to have you disoriented for those to work. Because if you know that she's in the room and you know that Vera Farmiga is like right around the corner, then if she pops up, everyone kind of knows that she's there. So I don't think they were going for the cat and mouse as much as they were of she's like a ghost right now. You don't know where she's at. So it's super scary. And then when she bumps out, it's going to be like, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like there's a more effective way to show that. Like just show Vera Farmiga running away and then have Esther pop out when she finds her, you know?
Yep.
Make it. I feel like a lot of this movie tries to emulate the sort of like old horror movie tropes where a monster is chasing someone and then the character like gets away, but then like they have a moment of respite where they think they're safe, and then all of a sudden the guy pops out. Like I feel like that's what they were
Mike Myers.
Yeah, I feel like that's what they were trying to emulate, and it just didn't really work because of the way it was edited.
It was just bizarre. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not gonna say all of a sudden the chick's in the greenhouse and the little girl's hiding, and I remember I was like, when did this happen? Like I haven't blinked.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is like? They didn't show anyone moving around. They just all of a sudden she's crawling out the window. The Esther runs away and the little girl's in the green room, and I'm like, how the fuck did the little girl get down there?
You didn't blink. The movie blinked for you.
Oh my god, she was just hiding in the plants, right? Like that. Did they show her leave the closet or anything, or did they like? Maybe they did it. I don't know. I can't. That's the one I couldn't remember. All of a sudden she's just in there, and I was like. Oh, this is great.
Yeah. Oh, I almost forgot about the scene where she climbs in the car and puts it in reverse, and then like, or puts it in neutral or something, and it's on a hill, and it goes back, and the younger sister's in the car.
Yeah.
And she's like running after the car, and there's like all these different things, like this guy's chasing after it, trying to stop it.
That was the best part. I was rooting for that guy hard.
I was too. I was like,
come on, guy.
Oh, this guy's gonna come in clutch.
That's what I was like, all right. In my mind, I put it like, it's either gonna go and it's just gonna go back into something and they'll save the girl, or this guy's gonna stop it and then it's gonna be like, lady, what were you doing? You know,
yeah,
nothing. It just goes in reverse, and then they're like, you drank last night. You're a fucking alcoholic.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was the other thing that was annoying to me too. It's like, all right, she has like a bottle of wine, right? Like, it's I don't even know what time of day it is. Maybe 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Like, we're going off the hungover thing that she fucked all this up.
Yep.
Then if that were the case, wouldn't she still be kind of hungover now while you guys are talking?
Right. Like, does she seem drunk to you?
Yeah.
Maybe it's one of those things where like we're supposed to think that the characters see her as drunk.
100%.
Because they don't believe her at all. Like they're already doubtful.
But like which made that's just
she's also hysterical.
Well, what kept fucking playing into the film of like how dumb these people are with like what's going on. Like it's another like horror film of just poor decisions, but instead of let's go into the haunted house, you know, it's like she didn't do it. She's 9. She doesn't know what neutral in a car is.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my god.
Okay, you know,
when clearly she's exhibited behavior that like before would indicate that she's more mature than she's letting on.
They go through the whole like she was part of this and she was part of this and she was part of this and all these things follow Esther, but it's never Esther's fault.
Yeah. Well, like not even that, but just like her interactions with the mom character, like after she sees them have sex and then she's playing piano and the mom comes up to her and she goes, all right, we need to talk about what happened. And she's like, I know what happened. You were fucking.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, that right there should tell you that there's a little more going on than what you're reading at that moment, you know? Going back to some of the editing, the jump scare stuff that they sprinkled in, like when they first go to the orphanage, there's like kids that rush by and they're laughing as like the dad's going up the stairs, I think.
Yep.
That was like, okay, that was cheesy. Like
there's a bunch of them. They throughout the whole film, it's like this isn't even really that scary. And then I was like, oh, this guy has to do this because it's not that. Unless you're like an adopted parent, like have an adopted kid. Yeah, I would imagine this being scary for you. But other than that, like there's really no horror element.
It's just the way it's edited, like the noise and the images on screen. Like it's an easy way to get you. Like even I was like, oh shit.
Well, that's what jump scares are. I mean, they were like, hey, let's have the cat on the piano and we'll, you know, and then just show it really jarring. And it's because I think there's 2 effective ways of doing it. Not, I should say effective, but the ways that I see it is you have the jump scares with the anticipation of something happening, and then you have it with the disorientation of like where you're at or what's going on. Yeah. You know, so I think that there's a couple of them where like the kids running. I think I did like a little jump with ones that weren't even supposed to be like, you know, it's just all of a sudden a loud noise, bang, crash, you know, and someone runs by. But the other ones, it's like, all right, like.
And then the whole, like, this movie has a lot of hallmarks of, like, just bad modern horror movies like that. And then the aspect of, oh, this character we're going to have in the movie just to dump exposition to the main character about, like, what's wrong with Esther. So like she gets the call back from the mental hospital, and
Sarn.
yeah, she's like, the guy's like, hey, I just wanted to call you back and let you know that yes, this person is actually 33 years old and she's psychotic and she's not actually a little girl, and she's been known to manipulate people, and she burned this house down with this previous family that she stayed with, and blah 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 blah, like all this shit that we like. It just felt like so rushed and like shoehorned in.
It's not only that, but I think like at that point, I don't know if it's really necessary, because like,
No.
I think the only thing would have been necessary is like the guy calling back and be like, oh, actually, this is interesting. Actually, Esther is she's troubled. She's 33 and she has like schizophrenia or something like that, and she portrays like little kids. Like, I would be careful and get her. And then like that's all we need.
Yeah.
Like this guy went through and started like and piecing like, and then they're doing the thing where she's like looking through the newspaper or pictures or whatever, and it's like
He read through the Wikipedia.
and like and the music's going, and it's like the for the audience, it's like all of a sudden it's like the unveiling, and like the characters like going through and her eyes are getting big, and it's just like a flood of information and processing.
Yeah.
Like all that's going on, and I was like, we already knew this.
He went to the Orphan 2009 film Wikipedia page and just read the summary.
Oh my god! Like literally, and I'm all about it. If we don't know Esther's doing these things, that's when that's effective. Like when you're like, all right, is it Esther, or is this like if they would have had of all that stuff happening and didn't show her doing it, and had the eerie like, is it Esther? Isn't it Esther? And they didn't like. That's what I'm saying. This isn't a horror film because they let you know off the get that she's bad.
Well, they also want to include scenes where she is actively threatening kids and threatening people in a very adult manner. Like she holds the razor blade to the kid's junk and says like, I'll cut this off before you know what it's for. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like you get to that point and it's kind of like, I don't even know if I needed him to say she was 33. Like, I mean, at that point, it's kind of like, if you're doing anything, just go, yeah, she's 33 in trouble, you should call the authorities, and then hang up. Like, that was like a 3-minute thing of him on the phone, and he's kind of going through, and he's like getting very concerned.
It's
and then,
very long-winded.
Oh my God.
Super long-winded.
That was one of the, and then Vera Farmiga, what pissed me off the most is that she's like doing the, and it's like,
I know.
Bitch, you fucking knew. You've been sitting here the whole time. Like, what? It just, all of it just connects now? Like, you just finally get confirmation? Like, that's what you needed? Like, what the fuck?
I enjoyed her for the most part, but her acting at points it sort of took me out of it. Like, the very first scene that she's in, where she's like, has the dream, or the nightmare, I should say, of like the stillborn. And she's like screaming throughout the entire thing. She's going like, like, I don't know what kind of human being makes those noises, even if they're in pain. But it sounded really unconvincing.
It was bizarre. It was so like you could call that out like a dream sequence. Like I think within the first 2 minutes, like before they even start showing Skarsgård as like everyone.
Yeah, I was really. I watched it, like that dream sequence, and I thought to myself, is this going to be how the whole movie is? Is this going to be the entire thing? Like this
schlocky,
weird,
cheesy,
this
kind
weird lighting, like production value weirdness going on?
I did, yeah. Well, and they did the same thing with the second one, too, which we'll get to, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was peculiar. I mean, there wasn't, I don't know.
CCH Pounder gets CCH pounded in the face in this movie. She's the nun character.
Oh, she gets the tire iron or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, the little girl's roped into murder.
Yeah. Which she still, she just gets pushed in front of the moving car. Like,
yeah. Well,
God.
I was I'm like, how much therapy is this kid going to need after all this? Like, that's really where the drama stems from. Yeah. Is the medical bills that will need to cover all of her psychological problems.
Yeah. Well, if they go to the same therapist, that therapist won't believe her, just like she doesn't believe the mom character. Like I'm not a fan of like plots in movies where like the conflict stems from characters not believing the main character. Like,
it's hard. I mean, I think it's hard because like we are on that side, so you want to be frustrated, but then you'd have to look. That's what I'm saying. You'd have to look at real world like problems and go, yeah, no, I could definitely see where there'd be some confusion. Or I could see where they'd be, like the one with the mom and the dad and the chick that comes up and it's like, you want to help me move a chair? And the guy's like, yeah, me and Ellen will be there to help you out. It's like, oh, he definitely, and then the mom hears about it. I'm like, well, obviously Esther crafted a story a little bit or left that little white lie, and the dad's now. And I was like, I could see that one happening for sure. A little bit of trust problems. And then to the degree it went is where I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she called him a cheating whore. And like, he's like, yeah, well, you're an alcoholic that like killed our kid. And I was like, that seemed like it went really just... I don't know where any of the animosity or tension in their relation
so fast. It was like really ramped up.
Well, and like I don't, and I didn't have it, so I don't know what it would have been like. But like 10 years ago with the cheating, you feel like you would have, probably, hey, like you can talk to me, like what's going on? Like, did he show anything that led up to believe that he was cheating on her?
Yeah.
So like that's where it was unbelievable for me. Was like I can see there being a little rift, between, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you're a terrible person. It's like you're an alcoholic, and then they just hate each other.
Yeah,
I was like that. Those are the jumps that we have to take, for this film to be successful. Is like stuff like that, and believing that Esther never gets caught.
Yeah,
like she kills a fucking nun, and then the little girl's not gonna tell anyone, and then like everyone's like, I don't know what happened to her. And it's like a 33-year-old dwarf and a 4-year-old dragged the body and hid it in the woods, and you can't get the dogs to find the body.
Yeah.
Like
the whole aspect of like her just causing mayhem was really funny to me. Like when she pushes the little girl out of the place.
Oh, you kind of giggled at that.
I'm like, I don't know why, but I found it really like the way that it was shot. It was so goofy, and then her killing the nun.
It was goofy.
It was really like...
How about going through the jungle gym and it's like the camera's like POVing everywhere and it makes it seem like it's in a prison.
That was super like really drawn out.
I was like, I had to go back and I was like, all right, I've been in a jungle gym. If I ever felt like that with like everyone around me, like where is it coming from? I was like, it's really hard to hide in a jungle gym.
Well, like not only that, but like she just kept going through it. Like, why not just leave?
Yeah, that was another one too, where it's like the first time she looks a little uncertain. It's like, do you really need to go down that slide?
She has like 4 chances. Like, she just keeps.
What was
going.
her motivation to keep going? That's the one. Like,
she just really wanted to go down that slide, dude.
Like looking around, like God, this
kids can't resist. They love slides.
Killing me. I gotta go down that fucker one more time.
It's like fuck. She's gonna fucking murder me. But the slide.
God damn it! 8 feet of fun. How can I not go down it?
I'll regret it for the rest of my life if I don't do this.
And then how about like she gets to it and then there's still like another like, let's look around a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
let me stand here for 10 solid seconds and like just meander right here.
Put the fucking X on my back.
And then all of a sudden Esther charges up like a fucking quarterback and just boof.
Boom. Hits her. Yeah. Terry Tate. Fucking office linebacker.
Just sends her off the thing, breaks her leg.
Yeah, and then what it was like, oh, she accidentally, and then, oh my God, that's what I was like, all right, so the dad's there. All right, the little girl's crying. Like, there was an accident. Esther didn't do it. That was the first one I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like, you've had this girl in your home for maybe like 3 months, and then another girl fell off of something, and we're just going to go, it was an accident? Like, they were playing. Did you see him playing earlier? Like, how disconnected are you, Dad?
Yeah. This was before the nun incident, right?
Yeah, this was the first one where we got to see what Esther was capable of.
That's like this movie, like the way it's structured, like you could easily put these scenes out of order, like, and it wouldn't really affect the movie that much.
No, not at all. Well, and because there's no buildup in what she's capable of doing.
No.
And it's alluded to very early in the film that she's in trouble and she does these things. And then they don't even play off her coyness on things. Like, they just, like, she's trying to be coy about it, but like there's nothing because we've seen it. That's what I'm saying too. The mystery of what she was or what she was capable of doing was stripped immediately.
Yeah.
And that's why it wasn't really a horror film, because we, as an audience member, know everything that's going on. That kid goes in the fucking treehouse. It's getting lit on fire, bitch. Like,
Yeah.
that's what's happening. So there's no like, it's more so of like, does this kid get out of it? And then the treehouse is on fire. And the mom's like, and the dad's like, wasn't Esther?
Yeah. The grandma character is there.
Yeah.
And she sees everything.
How did it get on fire?
And the dad, yeah, how'd it get on fire?
There's no outlets in it.
And the dad's like, well, Esther's a sweet little girl. And
Wasn't Esther.
our son must have just been causing ruckus. He shouldn't have been in the treehouse.
And I was like, okay, so this is the second time now that she's been in some sort of family member dying fire.
Yeah.
Like, kind of red flags right here. Like, as much as like the last one maybe was an accident, like now we're at the second time this has happened in her life. I don't know how many fires you've been a part of that, but like,
not only that, another time a child has been injured around her.
yeah, a shit ton. And then, there was a lot. It was just bad. It turned into like, that's what I was saying. It went from, it wasn't horror as much as it was suspense thriller with like some jump cuts, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like Anaconda is supposed to be like a horror film. It's like, no, that's more of like just like a kind of like
It's like a survival thriller.
like schlock. Yeah, they're all and then there's elements of horror strewn into it, to give it kind of that feel, but it doesn't make it a horror movie.
No.
I would say that The Bone Collector is much scarier than this one. Like, if you're going off that, why isn't that a horror film?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember commercials for this movie when I was a kid, because this came out in 2009, so I would have been, 14, I think.
Jesus
at the time. So I remember commercials for this and thinking like, oh, this does look kind of scary, but watching it now, it's like it's just really funny.
It was bizarre, just bizarre. I didn't know what we were getting into with it, and I was kind of hoping for a little bit more of the mysterious element played out into it, because like, let's say the twist.
Yeah.
The whole point of knowing the twist should be, all right, let's see if I can kind of see, like, if I didn't know about it, would it have held up as a twist?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't think it would have. Like, if
I don't know, dude. Fuck no. And I was 80% certain of what was going to happen. And I was still like, well, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. And after the first two things, I'm like, actually, it was a little girl. Well, the little girl goes up there. One, they start picking on Esther. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe kids are like that, kind of for no reason picking on her.
Yeah.
Like, maybe because she's different. And then all of a sudden, as soon as that playground scene happened, I was like, she's going fucking down.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but something's going to happen that's not going to be good.
When they set up one of the kids, like the actual children, as like a villain,
Yeah.
air quotes, to the main bad guy in the movie.
Like, did we even need that too? That's another thing. There's like a lot of, did we need this?
No. Well, like a lot of the whole movie is just to show how crazy she is, and to make it so that the characters don't believe the mom after all this wacky shit happens. So,
Which was,
I think the goals of the movie kind of contradicted what the whole twist stood for, because like the way that they portrayed it, like you said, you can see it coming. The goals of the movie were to just have the characters not believe the mom character, and to do that, you had to show all the stuff that Esther was doing. And then
see, but why? Like, do we need to do that? Because wouldn't that put you at a conflict of interest if you're not sure if the mom's saying it or not?
Yeah.
Because then it could turn into... Dude, this is why I was pissed off. Okay. They had the whole storyline with the mom set up. You had the dream sequence. All right. So already kind of like unreliable like narrator. All right. Just because... And I know it's like alluded to that it's a dream. But like even if it just kind of comes up, she doesn't talk about it. You can see that she's obviously impacted. Then they set up the whole alcohol thing. She's got the shrine to her kid. So there's a lot of elements in which the mom could be unbelievable with what's going on. Is it like an opposition to who Esther is in the family? Because it easily could have been set up that Vera Farmiga is doing all these things and Esther's the one around to see it. Like you could have, if you held the mystery off, like if you actually held the mystery there could have been a scene at the end where it's like she kills Esther. It's like Esther is 33, but she was literally just like a criminal that was stealing things, would go into families, and then like, oh man, she just burned down the house on the last one because they caught her and she needed a way out. And then Vera Farmiga ends up killing her, and then you find out that she was the one doing all these things because the love of her child and that this girl coming into her life just snapped, right? You could have had that, and that would have been great, because then you would have had conflict of interest. Is she the antagonist or the protagonist? We got this other character that we really don't know anything about. Instead, they just give you everything. They're like, the mom's an alcoholic and drunk, so obviously no one's going to believe her. It's like, she could have did coke. She could have did like like I was in an armed robbery, and it would have been like, can't trust her. It was so fucking vanilla and plain Jane just to have it in there.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing that shows why she shouldn't be credible or believable, because all of this, it's not like it happened a week ago.
No.
It's like years past. And then to be like, oh, the trust is damaged.
Yeah.
And there's a couple things that they do.
Easily.
Oh, like the fight with the dad. And then I don't know. And then after that, there's a couple things where she's like, I don't know about Esther. And it's like, you're just crazy.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't even roped up into the alcohol thing until after the kid went through and they found out, like, oh, you opened up one of these things. You must have been drinking. It's like, this happened 4 hours ago. Like, smell my breath. Right?
Yeah. The characters are so dumb of how they go about it.
Oh, it's just terrible. It's so... And Skarsgård... The only reason why I liked him in this, I think, is because he played like he didn't care. So like everything happening was kind of like up to how his whole emotional state was while interacting with everyone.
Yeah.
Very laid back and like, yeah, no, you'll be all right, honey. Yeah, we can do this.
His character almost felt like a more rich, kind of cleaned up version of his character in Garden State a little bit.
Don't remember
He plays like a kind of a stoner.
Oh yeah,
character in that movie.
Yeah, he could have came out if they showed him smoking a joint while he was doing his architect stuff. I wouldn't have been shocked.
Oh yeah,
like I would have been like, whoa.
He very much comes across that way.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to touch on with this movie?
The one is like how incredible of a artist Esther is.
I was gonna
blacklight
stuff.
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted that to be like a positive that I touched on.
That was one of the things that was going on that I was watching, and I was like, she's really good. Like if that and I know it's like they don't show any of this, but like I wonder how she does this in real life. Like how did. The time for me was like what was unbelievable, unless she just needs like 2 hours of sleep. But other than that, like pretty good artist.
And I like the way that the paintings were used throughout the movie. Like I like the whole use of the black light, like revealing the hidden stuff behind what is actually being created. Yeah, and that sort of whole idea of it. I really enjoyed that part.
Like maybe a small metaphor being provided or something like that. I don't know. And
they set it up early enough to where it's like consistent throughout the entire movie, which I enjoyed that aspect quite a bit.
But one of the So here's a bit of trivia for you, and I want you to.
Ooh.
Well, I was trying to I gotta find something to bring to the table here. So I mean, Esther, I guess she just did a really great job. Everyone thought she was a really good actress in this. I thought from that Facebook. So that Facebook article that I read. I thought she was 26 in this one, in the 2009 one.
Oh, no.
I didn't realize she was 12.
She's 12.
Yeah, no, I had to look it up because I went to her. Well, I started just looking at like the Orphan 2 and some stuff, and I got under her IMDb, and I was like, oh, she's 25. And I was like, well, when the other one come out? And so I hop in, it's like 2009. I was like, oh, so she was 12. So I guess I just assumed correctly that was the twist. Like there was no proof, and now this other one's the wrong way, and which it shows. We'll get into it.
Oh God!
But so the trivia, and this is where it's like, this is how dumb this movie is. That they took this scene out or writing out, but if it were in there, it would have flowed seamlessly, which is like a huge red problem.
Okay.
They had a scene written in there that when they go to the orphanage, Vera and Peter find another kid there before Esther named Yolanda, a 7-year-old Puerto Rican girl that they really like and they'd like to adopt. And then they meet Esther, and Esther wants to go home with Peter, wink, wink. And they say, well, honey, like it was like really tremendous meeting you, but we have another girl here that we're gonna actually adopt. You know, like it was very nice meeting you. Esther finds out, kills the girl. She's found hanging in a closet. Okay. They come back the next day to pick her up, and the nuns have to tell the family that there was a kid's game gone wrong, is how it was described, and that Yolanda had passed away, and Esther was around, and so they give it a week, and then they go back to the orphanage and adopt Esther.
That I don't know how I feel about that scene being included. It's interesting.
It's dumb as shit. But what I'm saying is, if it was in the film, would it have been something where it just goes along with how poorly written this thing was?
I mean, it would have been consistent with the quality of writing. Yes.
There we go. That's what I'm saying. Like, I read this, I was like, okay, so she kills a 7-year-old girl, and she's found hanging, and they go, oh, kid's game gone wrong. There's no question of murder from a hanging body.
Yeah.
And then instead of them being like the second girl that they've had now that has died, they give it a week and come back and get Esther.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking nuts? Like, they were like, oh my God, she died. And there's not enough of maybe not this orphanage.
Right.
There's a dead body. So that would be like, all right, probably not the safest place to adopt a kid.
There would have been an investigation at least, right?
And then the second is like, let's take Esther. Which I think I read that they found Esther like in the room or something, like, like around, like what? I just read that and I laughed. I was like, those people are fucking stupid. Like the parents, like Vera and Peter, I was like, they are fucking dumb if they go back there. And I was like, well, actually, it probably just fits in with how that movie was.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would have been.
That
would have been crazy.
Yeah, we like in an alternate universe, we could be sitting here talking about that scene, about like even just. But the thing is, it's like one more tally mark as to like how that movie was like.
It would have just been like
schlocky.
One more point against it, like the same kind of scene that we already get throughout. Like it just would have been a little more edgy because it's a kid dying. So
I think that was some of it too, was they were trying to point into the fact that these are kids and that there's some wholesomeness going on or some innocence that's being lost.
Yeah.
And that was some of the scary stuff, which never came off.
No, that didn't even feel like a theme being touched on in the movie whatsoever.
No.
Not
at all. No, God, no. They killed the brother for like, and that should have been more jarring than what it was.
I thought the brother lived because I thought that she like.
Oh, did they do? Well,
he flatlined for a bit and then they brought him back.
Yeah. Good job.
They didn't actually kill the kid.
Oh, damn. Not that I was rooting for that.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I wanted him. I wanted him to die.
I was like, this
little
is
bastard.
Great. Yeah, Esther. So all the people are questioning like where Esther's at. There's a fucking fire. The dad's like, oh, he's good. And then it's like, hey, where'd Esther go? She went to go get a pop. Oh, she's by herself. No one saw where she went. Kids flatlining for no reason.
Yeah, all of a sudden this alarm's going off in the room that your child is in.
Yeah.
Like, hold on a second. What's going on?
I think this one would have a shit ton of scene logistics too, where it's just like things that don't make sense happen, and then as audience members, we're just like, that makes sense. We just take it at face value. Yeah.
We can wrap this up.
Okay.
What would you rate this?
I did it today. I gave this a 6 out of 10. I don't think. I mean, it's schlocky, but it's entertaining. It's still suspenseful, even though that it's kind of predictable in what's going on. Like I said, I mean, the acting was good and I was entertained, and it kind of had me like. I mean, I was getting upset with the writing and pissed at the writing, but at the same token, I mean, it was just kind of like, I mean, there are dumb people in this world. This could have happened to someone. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Like, would you be shocked if you read a paper and like this was based on a true story?
If it was set in Florida, yes. Anywhere else, maybe not.
Like, you would have like read this and it's like, in Tallahassee, Florida, and you're just like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. Florida man turns out to not be a boy. He's a man.
Yeah, and he's selling meth to his middle school.
Yeah.
Actually, that's kind of dark, but yeah.
I mean, there's probably a story like that.
Yeah.
Gotta dig harder. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, and talking about it in the writing, the writing itself, and then the editing. I mean, in terms of a movie and the writing, like I'm guessing for you, you're just like there's probably like three big things. You're like or four, like the cinematography, the editing, the writing, and then the acting. And you probably got a 1 out of 4 that nailed it.
Yeah, the structure and the pacing also didn't help. I liked the acting, like for the most part, like
right.
Especially Isabel Furman. I thought she did a really good job, especially being a kid actor.
Yeah.
And all the other 2 kid actors were really good too, I thought.
I thought all the acting was fine. Like I didn't think there was anything that was like schlocky or over the top in terms of well, besides maybe the beginning with the
Vera Farmiga had a few scenes where I was like, I don't believe that you're actually grieving right now. And then the
oh my God.
whole painting ideas that they put in it, I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah, what's below the surface level or below the surface.
Otherwise, I thought it was unintentionally hilarious.
Oh my God, dude. She got a compound fracture. She did it to herself. And then it's like, it's just kind of give her a brace and she's good.
Yeah.
Like we set the bone again.
Uh-huh.
That was another thing that really pissed me off of like.
I forgot about that scene.
Oh, definitely didn't need it. And then they do it. And then we're just as audience members supposed to be like, oh yeah, she's superhuman because she's a 33-year-old dwarf.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that's still a compound fracture. Like,
That's, your arm's still fucking broken.
Well, and you're not letting it hang. Like you have to let the bones set or whatever. So you'd probably be in like a fucking sleeve to have it up and rested. Like, could you imagine if you just had it in a brace and you moved it the wrong way or it got bumped with too much force? Yeah, it'd be over again. Like we're not gonna get. I'm going
Scene logistics.
I think I'm gonna go to 5 out of 10.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to 5 out of 10. I forgot how much that one pissed me off.
Uh-huh.
I was kind of like, I was a little bit behind everything with what was going up to that point, and then that happened, and then she was beating the shit out of like 3 kids, and I was like, this isn't like some 33-year-old MMA artist.
Yeah.
Like she's just 33 and she's a dwarf. So
this isn't Tom Hardy.
Yeah, and I don't see her working out or doing push-ups, so it doesn't make her that much like more ungodly strong. Dude, she was pushing like Vera Farmiga around.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not that strong. You're 4'10" or 4'8". She's all of 85 pounds.
You've got the body of a 9-year-old.
Yeah, like sorry. I like when you guys go running into the kitchen for the knife, I feel like you're running into the adult and like bouncing off of her because she's got you by probably 50 pounds.
Yeah, right.
Like if you ran into someone that's 240 pounds at full speed, like just imagine like you shoulder charging someone and them dropping their weight on you and like rocking back.
I'd be dead.
Like, well, not dead. I definitely don't think both parties are flying everywhere and there's like mad scrambling. Like, anyways, yeah, 5 out of 10. Now that I think about it, like great concept, horribly fucking done.
Yeah. Speaking of Orphan and this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. This movie is making me sick. It's given me an illness. And speaking of ill, the character is very mentally ill, as we continue to learn in Orphan First Kill, the prequel.
Yeah, Orphan First. They didn't write that on there, did they?
It's well, they didn't write the prequel.
Okay, that's what I was about to say.
It's Orphan First Kill.
Orphan.
So I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, Orphan First Kill. It's a great one. This was we watched it last night. I watched it last night. When did you happen to? Oh, the story behind this one too. When did you watch it? Before I just rudely cut you off.
No, it's okay. I watched this last week Wednesday, I think. So it's been about 5 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we have plenty of notes here that we're reading off of, and that we did our research, and we're going to go off a lot of what we got written down and some of our thoughts that we've let marinate for the last.
Correct.
Yeah. So no, I recommended this one. I felt stupid. I recommend this one, and then it's like Tuesday. I was like, oh, I got a text that good friend of the pod, Jay Hall. We're gonna go see it in theaters. And I'm like, all right, let's go find out. I got my BOGO ticket. Hey, Jasmine, let's go. Let's do a Thursday. I got some time after football. And I'm looking, and I'm like, that's odd. It's not in the cinema. And I'm like, well, why would they give me a BOGO? So I go in there, and there's one in Grand Rapids, Rivertown Mall, one showing, 9 p.m. for Orphan. And I was like, that's my BOGO. That's what I got till the end of September is to go out at the one showing at 9 p.m. and this is your buy one get one. Like, can we get a little bit more sophisticated? So anyways, you told me it's on Paramount Plus, which was like a game changer.
Yeah, I totally had the same intention of going to the theater to see it because I thought it was only in theaters, and I looked up even on like the website, like the showtimes. Like a week beforehand, I was like, oh, okay, they've got showtimes for it. Cool. And it goes out all the way till like next week. So I've got time.
Yeah.
And then the day of comes and I go to check and it's just not there. Not for that specific theater anyway. So I'm like, what do I do? So I just look up how to watch Orphan First Kill and it's on Paramount Plus. And so I was like, okay, I just got the free trial and I just watched it that way.
Yeah.
So that's how I watch Orphan.
I might say with Paramount Plus, it's $5 a month.
Is it? With the limited ads.
Is that what it is? Limited ads.
Limited ads is $5. I think if you want no ads, it's like $9.99 or something.
Limited ads is fine. They got CBS, Nickelodeon, MTV. Not that we're plugging this thing or anything, but I was like, wow, some decent movies on there.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Saw that in theaters.
I still need to watch that.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, still need to watch Sonic.
All right, so Orphan 2, our Orphan First Kill, which is I hate that. There's a first and a sequel, a prequel's title, which I guess.
Well, not only that, but like, I mean, we'll get into it.
Yeah, yes, we will.
The title isn't really accurate.
That's true too.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's Esther, and this thing opens up at the Sarn Institute. All right, and it's January 26, 2007. A 31-year-old woman with rare hormonal disorder called Jesus Christ.
The rare form of dwarfism.
Hypopituitarianism. That sounds about right. She orchestrates an escape of the Sarn Institute and wants to get back into the United States. So she does her, spoilers by the way, she does her escape, right? She gets back to the United States and she's adopted, or not adopted, but she's taken back by the family that had lost their child. They weren't sure what happened because she mysteriously and she disappeared. And I mean, shit, honestly, that's just how it goes. I mean, this fucking film is so like just point A to point B.
Yeah.
There is a nice little, the twist in this one was actually kind of cool, but
it was interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So let me say this. First things first, I read a little bit of trivia on this one. Not much again. Besides that, one, spoiler, Esther looks like she's fucking 31.
Yeah. So they filmed this, and I mean Isabel Furman, excuse me.
Yeah.
Is currently 25.
Yep.
So assuming that they filmed this at least 2 years ago, she would have been 23.
Yep.
So she's a full-grown woman.
She not only that looked older than her real age and like what she is now.
Yeah.
Like they didn't they didn't make her look younger. They made her look older. And I thought she was 36. Like, or something like that. I thought she was in her 20s when they did the first one.
Yeah.
And that she was in her 30s at this. When I read she was 25, it's like, how'd you fuck that up?
They originally, I guess, were going to have her just be a cameo and then have another actress play Esther because obviously the original actress is in her early 20s.
Yeah.
And so
they were fit well into what they did with the first one.
They were going to go with like a different actress, but they thought like, nah, we'll just keep the same one. We'll work around it.
And they didn't do CGI with it. They did all prosthetics and makeup.
And perspective stuff.
But yeah, which did you, like some of the scenes?
I mean, it was super obvious.
Platform shoes that they had to be. When they said that she was a dwarf, I was like, with the actress itself, I was like, oh, she really could be a 25-year-old dwarf. Like, it's not like out of the realm that I didn't know that she was 25. My problem was when in the first one, they actually make her look older at the very end.
Yeah.
When she takes off all that stuff. And I was like, oh, she really is like 27. No, she was 12 and they just made her look old as shit, which was really well done.
Yeah.
And then so when I watched this, I didn't know all this stuff. Last night I watched the film. I didn't know any of this until today. And then I found out she's 25 and it's like, oh, maybe she's just like, she's a 25-year-old dwarf. Like maybe she's 4'10". You know, it doesn't just because, you know, she's an actress doesn't mean that she has to be, you know, 5'5". No, she's just normal.
Yeah.
Just normal. Just let's have her in here and we're not going to do CGI. We're just going to waste a bunch of money on makeups and perspectively. They had to be in stilettos or they had to be in platform shoes.
They just had her play a child, and even though she's like a fully grown woman. So they had to do a lot of like these perspective things where you never really see her full body from the front. Like the only times you ever see it is from the back when it's clearly a different actress. And the only times that you do see her like walk is like you never see her legs. Like you never see her legs moving on the ground while she herself is in frame.
I wish I would have known she was 25 on Friday.
Yeah.
So I could have watched this and been like, oh, she's like 5'6". I wonder, because I had to start like trying to think about some of the scenes. I was like,
It was interesting to me because I knew that she was that age, and so I knew this was going to be a prequel also.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, how are they going to how did they film this? Like how are they going to get around that fact? And,
yeah.
I mean, they really didn't.
They did the best they could.
They did the best they could.
I don't know why they made this film.
Well,
did you read up on anything of like why they're like, man, the first one had so much success 12 years ago?
The actress really wanted to do it again. Isabel Furman really wanted to make the movie again.
Did they do this with her production? She's got her own production company,
I think she had a heavy hand in like creating the story and like getting it pushed to the studios and having them greenlight it.
She does have her production house is called What If Productions. So they could have had some sort of, and she is like she got her it was in her IMDb thing because most of those things are like, it's Kevin Bacon. He was born this time. He's married to this person. He lives here. And, you know, he's been in some notable films. This one had 4 paragraphs on her. Like, I just started reading. I was like, oh, my God, this is just a actress. Yeah. And then I get down there and, like, she got her master's from somewhere. She's been doing stuff. And now, she writes. She's trying to direct. She produces. So I'm guessing that, yeah, you're right. But 12 years later, Isabel, like... And then you're gonna be the one in it. Yeah,
it's weird. Like it's an interesting decision to have her play the same character, even though she's considerably older, and the character is supposed to be younger than what she is in the first movie.
She's 7.
Yeah. So, you know, actress, character aside, like all that, like the whole idea of the movie, like the whole title.
The other one too, real quick, just to get it out there, was she also whoever wanted to make this made it and some refutes to the plot holes from the first one on how Esther got back from Estonia to the United States because she didn't have any papers or couldn't document who she was.
Yeah. So
this was to cover up some plot holes from the first one because
kind of retconning some stuff maybe.
Don't know what that is, but yes.
Gotcha. That makes sense with the way that they went about it. So,
yes.
The whole like idea of this movie, like the title, Orphan First Kill, like it's not her first kill. Like she's already batshit crazy by the time we get reintroduced to her character. And
they definitely make like right when they get there is this is our most dangerous inmate.
Yeah,
which I hate.
I know.
I don't know why. I don't know why anyone like
why did they have her? Why did they put the woman in the room by herself? Instead of having somebody stay with her while their most dangerous inmate has escaped. Yeah.
It was like literally out terrorizing or doing whatever they did. It's like, here you go. Like
from that moment, I knew what this kind of movie was going to be. I knew what we were dealing with.
I didn't. Yes. I didn't even think about that. All of a sudden she's in the Sarn Institute and I'm like, well, the first one was so bad. I didn't think it would be like an answer to plot holes and like all this shit. I thought it was just going to be like, oh, we're going to get back and we're going to get like an origin story on her, not necessarily on how she became Esther. Like, I thought she was going to, well, she does go to the house that burns down.
Yeah. So
let's just talk about it. We got to do it.
All right. So, like, it starts out like we're already kind of introduced to her being like crazy. Like, the whole idea of the first one is like, oh, she's a little girl, but then like, we're learning that she's unhinged. This movie, we already know what we're getting into, so they immediately are like, all right, you know what she is, you know what kind of character she is, so we're just gonna show her for what she is, and she's
That's
fucking
what I'm
crazy.
saying. I just didn't like that they have to do this is our most dangerous inmate.
Yeah, that in itself was cheesy and dumb.
The whole that little exposition I was like unneeded. But yeah, no, you're right because you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah, and so they have the whole idea of her like being in the institute, and then she escapes like almost right away. Like they don't really spend a whole lot of time with her there. I feel like I would have liked a little more of her being at Sarn just to get an idea of like what her day-to-day life there was.
Origin story of her not necessarily being Esther, becoming Esther, but her as a person.
Lena.
Yeah,
Lena. The psychotic character.
Yeah, let's do some like character stuff with Lena in this little thing. The first third of the film could have definitely been in this, how does she get around? What does she do? I mean, they had the weird like Ida or Ilda or something like that she gave candy to, but conditioned to be psychotic and kill people.
Yeah.
Which I was like,
Ida, candy.
First one that happened, Ida attacks someone because she says pretty much sick them. She does it. Ida gets put down. And then not 5 hours later, Ida is by herself cleaning front.
She's like mopping up the lobby where people can just walk in.
Yeah, then we've already had one outburst from her. So one, she would either be like in the straitjacket or she would be heavily like medicine. Like there would be like, knocked out, kind of a lot of morphine or something like that. Like what they give from Bronson. Nope. Just she attacks someone, but it's Ida. So she does that from time to time. No one really knows.
She's wacky. Yeah. She bludgeons the guard's head in.
It's like the dog that's just like, yeah, he'll attack you for no reason sometimes. But other than that, he's pretty tame. I'd be like, can we put it away then? Like I don't know if I want to be out here with like at any moment. Like if I stand up and just yeah, don't worry.
Oh, this Rottweiler has rabies. He'll just greet you at the door. He might not bite you.
You're good. Yeah. You're good. It's Ida, guys. It's Ida. Like no one knows. Like what is it? Like us putting her in a straitjacket and giving her medicine. What's that gonna do? Yeah. Is it helping Ida? No. Let's just let her mop.
We just have to think of what's in Ida's best interest here.
And not only that, we're saving costs on not hiring a janitor. So fucking that. All of a sudden, she's just out there. I was like, didn't she just...
Those budget cuts, man. They're really killing them.
Sarn Institute, Yeah.
Let's fucking Russia.
Let's go through the quarterly report.
Not getting any sort of welfare system in
Maintenance
place.
is over budgeted again by 13%. Let's start figuring out some ways to drive that cost down, guys. It's we could have the inmates do some stuff. They seem like they're all right.
We didn't get anywhere by not taking any risks, damn it.
Yep. So Ida's there, and I guess Esther carries candy on around her everywhere she goes in case... I mean, unless like the belief is that she's so smart, she knew Ida would be there at that shift, because Ida also gets paid in candy to mop.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of like just sort of this almost prophetic thinking in a way, like just super luck that the character has.
You couldn't tell. I couldn't tell you. I mean, they make her out to be like this genius, like 31-year-old super genius that has unworldly strength.
So then, she escapes like the first, not even like 5 minutes of the movie, really. And then sets up an identity for herself as like this missing kid that's in America. And she goes to the police and she's like, help, help. And they take her to America. And the family's like, Esther, I can't believe it. It's you. Why do you have an accent?
Oh, my God. Yeah. 4 years over in Estonia really changes a person.
I guess so. Yeah.
Well, they do set it up. They're like the developmental stage with the children at this time because there's a lot of growth at that age, that there would be whatever, I don't. Yeah. She escaped. She made it to a police officer and made him believe that she had to go back to America.
Yep. She goes back. Julia Stiles is there. She's like the mom. And then I forget the dad actor's name. Rossif Sutherland. Who I think is related to the Sutherland family, like Kiefer and Donald and all them.
I thought I liked him in this too.
He was honestly the best part, I think.
He was charming and was like, enough of... He had enough he was wholesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say the whole point of his character is to be wholesome.
And he way better than Skarsgård.
And I mean,
like... At being wholesome and probably not being idiotic.
Yes, he's just unaware.
Yes.
Like he's not daft like Peter Skarsgård is. He's just someone who's just out of the loop.
Yeah, exactly. And it's played that way, and it's also there's a disconnect with him because he really cared for Esther up until she was 5 or 4 whenever she disappeared. And so this whole thing that's going on, it is so much more believable of what would have happened, even if there were events that happened that would have pointed towards Esther. That I would have been on his side because it is his kid, I guess.
And not only that, they have a new shared bond of painting and art.
Yes.
So it brings them closer in the sense that, like, even if something did happen, like you said, it would be more believable because he's more inclined to you know, he has more in common with her than Peter Skarsgård did with her in the original movie.
Nothing in common?
Nothing in common? Yeah, exactly. Just, oh, you're my adopted daughter. I love you.
Yep.
Mwah.
Yeah.
So that aspect of it I enjoyed. I liked his character, and I liked the actor quite a bit. I thought at first, before the twist, that Julia Stiles' character, like her acting was like, what's going on here? Like she seems off. Yeah. And then the twist comes, and I think to myself, that's why she's been acting fucking weird this entire time. Like, why she's like already borderline hostile towards Esther.
Yeah.
So the whole twist is that she reveals that she knows that Esther, like the real Esther, isn't missing because the older brother like was too rough with her when they were playing and killed her by accident, which the character of the brother, you can debate whether or not it actually was an accident because he's a fucking psycho.
You know,
they leave that room for disbelief, you know?
Okay. This is when I was like the twist, don't like
the execution.
What they fucking... So Julia Stiles reveals all this stuff, and then it's like, and Gunnar could be rough, and he was a little too rough. And you know what they say about family? You don't break up family. And I'm like, your son just killed your daughter.
Yeah.
And like, we're going to hide this and keep the son alive.
Yeah.
Not like, let's get some help for a kid that just killed someone.
Right.
Like, none of it made sense.
The motivation's fucking whack, dude. So like the whole motivation for those two characters, the brother and the mom, is to protect the dad and his emotions and like his feelings from the truth that his daughter is actually dead.
Yes.
But those two characters are like weirdly fucking psychotic in themselves.
Well, but there was no intention of Esther ever coming back. So now that she's here, the whole plan changes.
Yeah.
So now we have to put on this charade, but we own you because we know that you're not her. And if you fuck this up, you know, like, I don't even know what they were going to do. I'm like,
which is weird because, like, immediately when something happens, they're like, well, time to fucking kill her. Like,
dude, not only that, but, like, how... like, both parties, I was like, neither of these people have... This is all just bad. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so Esther, like, instead of even Esther killing her, why doesn't Esther just go to the dad and be like, hey, the real one's dead. They showed me where her body's at. We could go down there and get it. You know? And then those two are being like, you better not say shit. Playing it so fucking close to the chest.
Yeah.
There was no reason for... You killed the other one. Just go and kill this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, no. We have to keep the dad happy because a family can't get split up. Like, you fucking killed your daughter. What are you talking about? Like, you've already fractured it.
They've already gone a step too far.
Yeah. Like, this isn't like, you know, she died because she had dysentery or fucking tuberculosis. Like, your son killed her. You're hiding it to keep him alive.
Yeah.
By the way, he's a douche, you know?
Right.
And he wasn't even that douchey. I didn't think, like, he kind of gave off, like, some, like, douche meter. But not like to the point. It wasn't until the very end, and it was only because the writer roped him into this weird fucking. Dude, you could have had anything. Even the son didn't even have to be attached. It could have literally just been the mom that was holding this together. Mm-hmm. You know how much guilt you have for killing someone, the Raven, right?
Yeah.
And the two people now having to hide this forever. None of.
Right, it didn't even feel like they were like guilty or like remorseful about it in any way either.
Family stays together.
Yeah, it felt more like a fucking psychotic mob family.
Yeah.
Like, Julia Stiles was just like this evil, like almost stepmother matriarch figure that you'd read in like a fairy tale.
Which I thought was really interesting because they still botched it, but they could have botched it in the complete other way of just redoing what the Orphan 1 was.
Right. And I thought that that's where it was going at first, which is kind of why I like the idea of the twist.
Same here. I loved it. I thought it was really, I wrote down, like, I was like, the best thing of this movie was this idea that they just fucked up completely. But like, you know, it's schlocky bad writing.
Yeah. Like the writing didn't help, like it didn't do it any service at all, but the idea of it being at least different from the first one, like it's not just a remake, it's not just a retelling of like what happens in the original movie.
Yeah. And then they flip it too, so she goes from being the antagonist to an anti-hero.
The way you said antagonist, it took me a second.
Antagonist? Oh my god. Because of the fucking Mr. Oh, what's that from? They really did fuck me up. I say protagonist and antagonist.
Where's that from?
It's from the Star Wars. The guy that does he did the Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones. I can't remember his name. Mr. Blipkin.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, are you talking about the Red Letter Media thing?
Yes.
Okay.
And he does an hour worth of like why these movies are so trash and suck so bad.
Yeah.
And then at one point he's like, and you're going to meet the proto-antagonist here. So I always say like a
proto-antagonist and anti-antagonist.
Instead of saying like, I can't even think about it. Protagonist, I say, proto-antagonist and antagonist. Instead of saying antagonist, because dude, it's literally seared in my head. Like that rolled right off the tongue. I thought that was right.
You came off as super casual about it. Like you just,
I did.
So
that wasn't
confident.
to be funny. I thought like when you stopped me and said I said it wrong, I had to think. I was like,
I couldn't just let it go.
No, I'm glad you didn't, and I'm glad that I can explain to people of why. Because I will call it a instead of a protagonist, I can say a proto-antagonist.
I just wanted to touch on it real quick.
Yeah. So she goes from being the antagonist to an anti-hero, I think, essentially.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of what I was picking up from what they wanted the goals of the movie to be.
And I thought that was super unique. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it is like a game plan for writing. Like I bet you there is like this is how you do this. But I don't see it all too often. I thought that was really unique.
Yeah.
But then they're like, hey, we're going to show you where we hide all of our dead bodies. And then we're going to come up with this weird family dynamic with me and the kid that's going to keep you from, doing what you want to do. And now you're a slave. And I was like, I kind of like that. I mean, this is...
Yeah.
It went from being weirdly done in the first one with, us knowing everything to now we don't know what's going to happen because she's turned into this, like, she's enslaved, really.
Mm-hmm. At first, yeah, when the detective gets killed, like when he gets stabbed by Esther and then Julia Stiles walks in and you think that she's like caught.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Julia Stiles pulls out a gun and fucking finishes him off.
Were you confused when that happened?
I was like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah. I thought it was really like, well, I liked it.
Yeah.
But then they...
Pun intended, well executed.
But then they fuck it up.
Yes.
Hey, how can I take this really cool idea and just make it shit?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'll have the brother kill the daughter, and then the mom will defend the son, and they'll hide the body, then live with this.
It's a neat idea, but yeah, like you said, it falls apart when you think about it even more than a second.
It's so terrible, too, because it's not like it unraveled. Like, it really just came out of the oven, and someone put a fork in it, and it just fell apart.
Yeah.
Like, I just did all this work. It looks fantastic, and you stick it, and then it's...
And I feel like it doesn't, like... It's almost the opposite of the first movie in that the first movie, like, it's very repetitive in that, like, it has the same sort of scenes back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, it feels like two things happen, and then all of a sudden the mom and the brother are like, all right, time to fucking kill her.
Yeah.
Like, it goes super quick into
it was
them
halfway
being
through the
really
film,
hostile.
I want to say. Like, it might have been the ending of, like, well...
Because, like, what happens?
I think it was the end of Act 1 that they did it.
So, okay, let's map out what happens.
Okay.
So, she finds out that the mom knows more than what she's letting on, and the brother's in on it. And then the dad, like, she brings her back home.
Out after all this happens?
I'm trying to figure out, like, how much happens between them trying to kill her and the mom revealing that she knows more than what she was leading on. So like they bring her back home. There's the whole thing with like they try to poison her or something. Like they put poison in her food.
I don't know.
And then she gets back at them by putting the rat in the smoothie.
Mm-hmm.
And then they like see the dad off. She tries to push them in front of a train.
Yep. And
then she gets away in a car. And then they come back home and they try to kill her. Like there's not much that happens between point A and point B.
No, you're absolutely right. There's just long drawn out scenes of And like, I guess it really does make sense now that I think about it that they have to have these long drawn out scenes because of perspective shots, and they have to craft all of this stuff, and it's like we can't just rush through it and have, like you have to have a shot of her doing this, but then we have to have another shot somewhere else, and then we have to go back to this shot, and then we have to go back to this shot. So now you're looking at a scene that if you did a tracking shot, which could have easily been done if she was a dwarf.
Actually a child.
Yeah, that could have just been done on like kind of one fell swoop or like a real quick shot from behind and then back to it. Mm-hmm. No, we have to have like 4 different. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was. I had it halfway through the film that they did this in my head. Yeah. You're right though. I don't know what else happened. It
doesn't feel like much. It really doesn't.
It doesn't. But the end, and I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Fuck it. Now that I think about it, because I was like, man, the ending kind of. But then I'm like, well, the ending went by quick too. Like it just kind of, here we go.
Yeah, it just breezed by. Like this movie it felt really short. Like
it was 90 minutes.
It did. Yeah, it didn't explore as much of what I would have liked it to explore.
No, I think they literally just did it to tighten up some plot holes from a movie that's 15 years old.
Right.
That's what I don't get.
And then there's the end with the whole CGI fire, which
terrible,
awful.
Yeah.
Looked like a Hallmark movie almost.
And then all of a sudden, like I have to choose between one of you, and then Julia Stiles falls, and then she's like, "Oh, let me save you now." And then doesn't she push the dad when the dad?
Well, so the dad pulls her back up after that whole tropey-ass cliffhanging scene where he has to choose one of them. And then Julia Stiles falls.
Oh my God,
dies.
you're both hanging here. Oh my God, how did you get up here? Like, save us. Like, oh my God.
She's not really a child. She's 31, and she's like, she tried to kill me.
She killed me. I'm dead in a hole somewhere.
So then, the dad pulls Esther back up, and then he's like, oh, sweetie, let me look at you. And then he, like, squeezes her face.
And as soon as her teeth pop out.
Yeah, as soon as her mouth went all puckered, I was like, oh, her teeth are going to fucking fall out. And then, of course, her teeth fall out, and he just literally goes like, what the fuck? And he's like, she just says like, I did this for us. I did this for you. I love you. Come here, give me a kiss. And he's like, get away from me, you monster. And then he falls off and dies.
The worst part about all this, too, is like,
so rushed.
Oh really? Not only that, how fucking dumb is it? The first one, they're like, she's had a thing with all of the dads.
Yeah.
And then in this one, it's like, I remember that from the first one, and then this one, I'm like, it's gonna be pretty hard to be like, hey, like, let's get it on. And then I was talking to Jasmine about it. I'm like, all right, it's gonna be weird either way, right? Because like, either the dad's going to be into her if they kiss and find out that she's not his daughter, but then if they do, like, that means it's really fucking weird. Or it means he doesn't know and doesn't care and really had a thing for his 10-year-old daughter. I was like, this is kind of like lose-lose, right?
Yeah, there's no...
Like, it just makes this kind of really come off as pedophilic, you know? Like, I don't know what they're trying to do with the whole thing here. And then, like, we had the backstory if she's into every dad, but I'm guessing that she was adopted by all of them, not like, I am your kid.
Yeah. I don't know. It was like... Yeah, that was, like, kind of the point of it, too, was, like, just to... Like, it's not going to end well. You know that it's not going to turn out well because... no rational human being would ever like actually go through with that. Like, oh yes, let me just jump into this relationship with someone who I thought was my daughter, and who actually still looks like a child.
Yes,
like it's that whole. It's like when anime weebs argue that no, this anime character, she's actually 900 years old, so it's okay if I like her that way.
Yeah. It's yes.
It's that same kind of mindset.
Yeah, it's a fallacy.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Or it means you're really perverted in like one way or the other, you know?
Yeah, it's like, okay.
If he goes through and does it, like, what's that mean?
It means that he's at least attracted to someone who looks like a child.
Yeah.
So, like you said, lose-lose.
It was awful. It didn't make any sense. And to have it be... At least with the first one, there was like a mysterious, like, I wonder how she does it, or does she do it with every dad? Like, this is kind of like a, you know, a prey, and like it's, you know, she's got this weird sort of like, I don't know, fetish, you know, with the dads, and like becoming like whatever it is. But then there's always a thing of she might be able to get away. Mm-hmm. Like, even at the end of the first one, like, I was like, oh, like, maybe she still breaks through the ice, you know?
Yeah.
With this one, it's just like, you know where it's going. Mm-hmm. It gets there. It was all shit. It just led up to nothing. And then you watch it and you're like, well, then the one character I liked in this had to go, huh?
Mm-hmm. The whole, like, I want to talk about the production value a little bit. Just like in general, not just the fire.
How bad it was?
Yeah. Like I alluded to it earlier, but it felt like a Hallmark movie to me at times. Like the way the cinematography was and how the movie was shot. And
they had to do it because the main character was as tall as the real fucking people.
The whole like just visual aspect of it felt really cheap to me.
Yeah.
Like dude, you know how like the special effects, the fire, the blood splatters.
Oh
like
how many times did they have to? I was like, this is the horror that they're going for, is the blood splatter stuff.
Yeah.
And that was it, right?
Mm.
Like anytime she killed someone, it had to be like kind of like.
Yeah, it was just really like pulpy, but it didn't look good. Like it was all CGI.
It was just shit.
Mm.
You didn't need it.
No.
How about when she takes a shower at the very beginning and kills the fucking psychiatrist after she did everything, and she goes, "Oh, usually it takes one time," and then more blood on her. I was like, she's got to go wash up again now.
That's what I thought.
Like,
I was like,
what
okay.
are we doing? She just did all this shit. You're just going to walk by. She's bleeding out.
You just washed up. You're about ready to go and like find an officer to go back to America, and then oh yeah, no, more blood on me.
I really like doing laundry and taking showers again.
Right?
Fucking so.
Gosh, scene logistics.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. No reason to do things like the writing of killing. Anything could have been done to have this happen. That's what kills me. That's really, honestly, it's like, it's very simple 2D characters. You don't need anything elaborate. Just don't do anything that doesn't make sense. Like, I'm going to kill my daughter. I'm going to say I have to protect my family and my son. It's like, then what'd your daughter mean to you?
Right. Like, it doesn't even come across that you gave a shit about her.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, was there some sort of predisposition psychosis there or something that you passed down to your son? Like,
yeah.
But you still care enough about your husband to protect him, air quotes? Like, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Not only that, but then there's the funny scene that I saw was like, she must have known that Esther ripped the dress or something like that, but she's like, no, I'm going to go upstairs and fuck my husband. And I remember like her saying that to Esther, and I was like, you know, the dad still thinks that's his daughter. So, like, I don't know why you need to, like, think that she's trying to weave you out.
Yeah.
You know, like, even if she does, okay, Julia, let's say that she gets the better of you and the dad takes Esther and then you're still alive and see, it's just going to raise his daughter. It's not like they're going to go fuck somewhere.
Yeah, it's like
the weirdness behind the whole thing. Like, and then Julia playing into like thinking she knows Esther knows like or wants to do something with the dad is like, what is this some sort of Sigmund Freud thing that they're just tossing in here? Like,
they just needed more conflict between those characters, and so.
Well, I'll tell you right now, enslaving someone and making them fucking do their bitch work for a while. I mean, that's a lot of conflict.
Yes.
I don't know if I need any more than that going on. I mean, I pretty much got the feel of, oh yeah, this is not. She's in trouble.
Right. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on with this? Or have we said all that we pretty much can?
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, no, I think we have.
Yeah.
This movie's bizarre. It's bizarre in so many ways. This is a movie that the reason why I went straight to Paramount Plus. Mm-hmm. You know, it should not be shown in theaters.
I will say I feel like this movie, I feel like it kind of gets a little bit of points from me because it feels like it is more self-aware about like what it is. Like,
yeah, that's why they
it kind of
twist.
knows. Yeah, it kind of knows that it's stupid and that it's schlocky and dumb. Like the first movie took itself so seriously that it totally didn't. It came across as really funny to me because of that.
Right.
This movie just felt dumb and stupid, but because it knew it was dumb and stupid.
Yeah. Yes, I do agree with you with that, because I think I said the same thing with Jasmine, because I was like, this is why they have the twist in here. So I was like, they're kind of playing off of they're self-aware.
Yeah.
So instead of like, let's just rinse, lather, repeat with the whole orphan thing, like we could have fun with this. And then, but even when you're being dumb and schlocky and bad, like, let's keep it tight. We can still be like kind of funny, schlocky, bad, but like reasonable things that as a audience member could believe happening, besides my son killed my daughter and the families don't split up.
Like they can have it be schlocky and dumb, but just not brain dead.
Oh my god, which is why this pissed me off, because that's the best way of describing it. And then the fact that they have the whole thing in the first one with the dads that they try to do in this one, and then and the only reason why they have it in this one really is so they can set up the dad getting killed at the end.
Yeah.
Like that's the only purpose that it served.
Yeah. That they need to put the dad aspect in it to make the other movie make more sense.
Right. And
give her like a history of it, you know?
I would have they should have just had her be adopted. Honestly.
Adopted again.
Well, they should have just been like, I don't know. They should have figured out. Yes, they should have
just completely remake the movie.
Well, I'm just saying, like, hey, how about you have the dad, the mom, the son, and then they, just like in the first one, we want a daughter. And that this one, they find out, maybe Esther says that she was kidnapped, and that she was brought here, and I like that. Even then, don't you think they do that? I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a whole lot. So I guess we can get into ratings. I will give this a 5 out of 10.
Shut the front door. Really?
Yes.
This is a 4 out of 10. This movie was trash. There wasn't... The only redeemable thing was the twist, and even then they just fucked it up with everything that...
Yeah.
You don't even have to give me the family stuff. We don't split as a family. Like, you can't kill your daughter and then look at her in the eyes and go, families don't break.
Family is everything.
Like, you just killed your daughter. Like, is she not part of the family?
We're all in this together.
Yeah. As you've kicked someone out.
Yeah, as the daughter's like fucking down a well, just dead.
Sorry. I was so mad. I was just watching this thing. I was fuming. I just was... Bad. Brain dead writing. Great.
Yes. Speaking of brain dead, our fans are not brain dead.
No, they are not. They
are
get it.
Beautiful, smart, ambitious souls that have left us some answers. I posed a question on Facebook asking people what is a movie that they enjoy, but that they can only watch one time.
Okay. So are we doing yes or no? So are we going through that, or are we just going off experiences with seeing the films?
I think we're just gonna read their answers, and we're gonna touch on how we feel like for ourselves about like how like our experiences with it, I guess. So okay, I guess I can start us off. So, my mom, Joanne, said,
"Oh, this is one that I've actually seen multiple times."
Yes. The Machinist, good movie, but knowing how it ends would make watching it again with a different set of eyes that may take away from the dramatic ending. The way she worded that was kind of weird, but I think I knew what she meant in that, like, if you watch it again, it might take away from the suspense, but I don't feel that same way about that movie. Like, movies like that, not to give anything away, but it makes you see the film in a different light. And I feel like it warrants more rewatches than anything.
His motivation and actions that don't make sense when you watch it make more sense. And I think a second time you watch it, you're able to pick up on more things as to why he was doing those things.
Yes.
And you're able to, yeah, enjoy, and we're not saying that you're wrong. All right, this is my opinion at least. But yeah, you're able to pick up more on like some of the motivation that he has for what he's doing. In which the first one, that The Machinist is a good, what I would say of like a suspense thriller that comes off almost as a horror film. That is kind of the mystery of what's involved with the final, thing of what they're showing.
Yeah.
And that is what I was saying The Orphan could have been like.
It could have made you watch it in a whole different lens.
Just imagine you see like in that movie like some of the stuff he's going through, and you're wondering why is he doing it, and you're just trying to figure it out, and you're living a disoriented kind of crazy person life like he is. They could have did that with The Orphan anyways.
Yes.
Why are we still talking about that film? You're done with it, Mac.
We're
all right. Move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just bury it. Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Bury it. Well, I won't ever remember it.
Yeah. You'll bury it in the recesses of your subconscious.
Yeah, like Esther.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna bury it like Esther.
Bury it in the frozen lake.
Yeah. No, the well.
Oh yeah, the well. So our next response is from Tenniel. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, I'm sorry.
Do the proper phonetic pronunciation key when you hear this, and then we can look at it and say it.
Yes. Send us a voice recording, and then we'll just play that next time we have to read your voice or your name. So they say Hubie Halloween with Adam Sandler. It was a funny movie, but I would never watch it again. It is kind of a one and done movie. So Hubie Halloween.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
Really?
I have no interest in seeing it.
No. I can't say that. That might get recommended. You never know.
I have no interest in seeing it. If you recommend it, I will watch it.
Hubie Halloween. How can you not want to see it?
It's an Adam Sandler comedy.
Damn.
Oh, not like Meyerowitz Stories Adam Sandler comedy,
right.
But like Jack and Jill Adam Sandler comedy.
I actually heard there's like a couple funny parts in it. I have not seen it. There's no one. Sandler went off the rails probably after 2004. There's a lot of speculation that it was because of his kids. Like he started tailoring more movies that they could partake in, and the raunchy, I'm gonna shit in a glass and like smell it. Doesn't cut it with a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
So I think like that's when I cut him off, and then you make it a Netflix film is just literally like putting a cyanide capsule in with like absinthe.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Might as well just end me right now.
Yeah.
Throw me down a well.
But I will say I heard some funny parts about it, so I'm intrigued. I might actually watch it this Halloween.
Let me know how it is.
Tenniel?
If you decide to watch it.
Well, we're interacting with the audience members too. I have to let everyone know.
Oh, yes. Tenniel, if we decide to watch it, we'll let you know.
Yes.
We'll dedicate a whole episode to it.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, hold on. I don't want to do that. We also watch films without having to report them. I watched Barbarian, so I almost wanted to talk about it, which would have been a great fucking talk rather than this shit, but I shouldn't say it like that. These movies weren't entertaining, and they were poorly written, and I think that they'll just, empty calories.
Yes.
Is what we just did. And Barbarian, I think, is an entree.
Our next response
is Barbarian on there? Did anyone write?
No, that's not an answer.
Oh. What if I put that down?
That's your answer?
So we can talk about it.
Yeah, well,
no.
We can give our own answers after we go through everyone else's.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Blason says, "What's Eating Gilbert Grape? I absolutely loved it, but couldn't endure it for a second time." Have you seen this movie?
Mm-mm.
Me neither, but I know from what I've heard, it seems like a more emotionally driven film.
Yeah, kind of like The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll find out if that's the only one that I know. I haven't seen that either. So
yeah, I'll check it out one day for sure. It's like one of Leo's first movies that launched him into stardom.
Yeah. No, I think it's got something with a mom in it, and it's yeah.
Katie, speaking of Boy in the Striped Pajamas, gives that as her answer.
Really?
It's terribly sad and also a great film that gives insight on a tragic moment in history.
Interesting.
What I find interesting is that this same person answered this same movie as her favorite movie. So, Boy in the Striped Pajamas is your favorite movie, but you've only seen it once?
Hey, I'm telling you right now, there's movies that could be like that you have stuck with you for 15 years. You've only seen once, but because of how much what they did to you, like Schindler's List. And I'm not going to answer it, but I bet you there's probably people in this world that's their favorite movie. They've seen it once, and 20 years later, they could probably recant some scenes that they remember.
Yeah.
You know, I think that there are times like that, like A Star is Born. I'm kind of like that. I think I've seen that once, maybe twice. And that is like, it rips out my heart.
This movie I've only seen it once too. And I don't think I will ever revisit it unless it's recommended, is because it is an emotionally draining movie. It's very bleak. And that's all I'll say about it.
I've seen a lot of bleak films.
Yes. Megan says, The Green Mile is the first movie I remember making me ugly cry. It was so good, but I don't think I can put myself through that again.
That's funny.
Hilarious.
Hey, everyone's got a good ugly cry.
Yes, that's true. Mine is Toy Story 2, Jesse's song.
Oh, my God.
It's the only one that's gotten me, ever.
Let's see. Ugly cry. Mine was The Patriot. We had just lost to East Kentwood in 2002. I was 12 years old. I was a water boy. Thought the team was going to win state. Really connected with a lot of the kids on the team. You know, that they were high school kids, but they took me in. You know, they were cool kids. And we lost. And I was crying after the game. And then we watched The Patriot. And there's a couple events that happened in there. And it wasn't the first one, but the second event that happened that, like, I was bawling. And I had to go to Matt Grace's birthday party later that night. So I had to get it all out. Yeah. I cried for 5 minutes. I paused the film and cried into a pillow.
Pillow cry. Not just ugly cry, but pillow cry.
It's bad. Like when you're sobbing so hard, you need to put a pillow over your face to hold the tears because it makes you look like you wet your pants.
Right. You're just producing so much.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think I've only cried one time in my life to the point where I didn't have any tears.
Well, not only the tears, but just the snot.
That's what I'm saying.
All the fluid coming out of your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's just
like
a
mess. Broken water faucet.
Yeah, broken water faucet, but it's got gunk in it too.
Yeah.
Like, geez.
I've seen The Green Mile. You've never seen The Green Mile?
I haven't. No.
Wow. Way to not admit that. I admit all the films I haven't seen.
I mean, I just admitted it now after being interrogated.
Yeah. I think I could watch The Green. That one does pull at the heartstrings a little bit. There are some events in there that really piss you off. But
yeah. Gideon says, Manchester by the Sea, beautiful movie with great writing. Movie just focuses so much on depression and the harsh reality of some lives, which is hard to watch over again. I agree with that.
100%. I've seen that movie once.
Me too. That movie is...
Maybe twice.
That movie, it's so... It's really good because it doesn't... Like, it doesn't... It's not in your face about it. It's not obvious about the subject matter. It's inferred through the character and through the situations and the dialogue that...
And through the police station. Yes, absolutely.
That too. But... For the most part in the movie, it's so organic and it feels so real that it is more effective that way. Like it's not like the acting is good also because the characters aren't like screaming at each other or like going like, oh, you do this, you do blah, blah, blah. Like it's a lot of subtleties. It's a lot of small character moments that affect you because you may have experience something very similar, or it's at least portrayed in a way that's like realistic enough and relatable enough for you to believe.
Yeah, there are events that happen where it doesn't have to be the exact event. You could substitute for anything that's been life changing in your life in a negative way and relive your moments through what's going on, but probably relate to the characters' emotions as they're going through it in the same manner as probably you did as a person. So it brings up a lot of maybe unwarranted memories, unwanted reflections that you have, and then you go back and then I don't know, the worst one is like when you're watching it though and then you're like judging it and it's like, all right, what could be worse than that? And then you're going through your shit and then it's like, wow, he's got it worse than me. But then it's like, well, someone's got it worse than what happened to that guy. And then you start thinking about that. And that's like, what would be done? And then you're getting into really dark, like, holy.
Yeah. That's another good thing about this movie. It just feels so personal.
Yes.
Like
It does. I hope that didn't happen to anyone. I mean, that made the film or in general.
right. We just hope that bad things don't happen.
Yes, agreed. We're a get paid pod. All right, we want everyone to do well and get paid.
Yes. Make that bread.
Yeah.
Or whatever the Zoomers say.
Ooh.
Lauren answers with Hereditary. An incredible film all around, and definitely would recommend seeing it, but so emotionally taxing and disturbing.
I think I agree. I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
I have enough of the memory of what I don't want to watch again to not watch it again.
It is very effectively creepy and atmospheric because it's a horror film, but it's like one of my favorites. And I have seen it more than once, but I think this film in particular kind of benefits from a rewatch because there's a lot of hidden details and a lot of hidden stuff that you can look out for that you wouldn't have picked up on a first watch.
Right.
Like there's so many little things that not only come together at the very end, but just that you don't even get unless you watch it again.
Tarantino-esque of small clues, hidden, maybe not messages, but like
Clues,
symbols,
like editing tricks.
Yep.
Like certain characters being in certain places in certain scenes that you didn't even know about. Like it's very detailed in that way for the sake of like creating a creepy atmosphere upon a rewatch.
Yeah.
So I personally like to rewatch that movie just to re-experience and rediscover some things that I didn't know before, but
love.
I can definitely see
tenderness.
Yes. Affection, family,
heritage, tradition.
Yep. That's what the title means, Hereditary.
Yeah.
It's what you pass down to your family. But if someone is like horrified by this movie to the point where like they're super scared by it, then I can understand them not wanting to rewatch it. It's creepy for sure.
Well, I mean, there could be a couple different things in there besides just the horror element that make you not want to watch it again.
There is a scene that's very gruesome.
Oh yeah, terrible. Out of like left field.
In a way that makes sense though.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, but yes.
That's all we'll go with for right now.
Yes.
And just want to make sure I touched on. I got a couple more. So Christine says, "The Titanic. My attention span just isn't good enough for the length of this film." That is also another good reason for not wanting to revisit a movie. It's just too long. It's just the length of it is enough for you to be put off by watching it a second time.
I'd agree. I mean, yeah, 100%.
Like
or watch it the first time.
Yeah, right. Like people, I could recommend someone watch Stalker and they watch it, and you know I'd rewatch it again, but I would need a lot more time from when I first watched it to the second watch to pass by. And I could see someone watching that movie and being like, I never need to watch that again. That was very long.
I'm probably one of them.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah, I don't. If I was with someone, like, I'd have to watch it with someone, and they'd be like, let's put it on, and then being able to either, like, if me and you, if we were like, we're gonna watch it again, I'd watch it with you, you know, just so we could talk about things that we know about coming. To watch it with the first time with someone, unless they're like openly like ready to be engaged for the film, I don't think I could be engaged for a second time for this film.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like you just kind of have to gauge how the movie plays out for you. Like if the pacing, like 3-hour movies, like they can go down smooth if the pacing's good. So,
which I'm shocked that the Titanic is, that's their opinion, you know, Christine's opinion. I could probably watch it again. I thought the pacing's good in it, but sometimes 3 hours is 3 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it also depends too, like how you're watching it. Like if you just have like the DVD version, you got 2 discs you got to use, or VHS.
Or the VHS with 4.
Yep. So it just becomes a chore to watch the whole movie just one time.
Yeah, just getting up and shifting items around.
Yeah, it's like, all right, hold on, let me put down my bowl of popcorn.
What do you think is more cinema, Titanic or Stalker?
Stalker.
Really?
I think Stalker is more cinema, air quotes, in the sense that like it has a lot more to offer in terms of like the subject matter.
Okay.
Titanic is very much just a straightforward love story with a disaster that happens at the end, you know?
So do you think Tarantino would call the Titanic a thrill ride?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Unadulterated thrill ride. Unbridled, what do critics normally say? That the commercials...
I don't remember. I can assure you I don't pay attention to that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't need to know what IGN has to say about a movie.
Raunchous, roaring, or...
Yeah.
Roaring good time.
Yeah. Oh, my God. How about the indie comedies of like a buddy trip?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they all say like, it's like, raunchy adventure in which like, your spirits will be uplifted.
Laugh out loud funny.
Yeah. And then they have like the swelling music at some times where it's like they have to have the serious moment of like, dude, we need to get out of here. And then it's followed up with like them getting attacked by like a naked old couple.
Has a surprising amount of heart.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just them like running through like the maze field.
It's fucking. They call it the #1 movie in America, and it's fucking February.
Every time it's the #1 film in America.
#1 film in America.
But that's why you have to look at who judges it, because sometimes there's like these weird.
#1 to who?
Yeah. The LA Gazette. You know. Like no one that's got like any, they might be a reputable source, but like they just pick like the Iowa Times.
Well, it's such a phrase that like it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It's like you could just slap that on anything. It's like when people say based on a true story, like any story could be based on a true story.
100%.
Like there's no one telling you can't say that because technically it's true. I guess.
Me wrong. That's what I say.
Like fucking Battlefield Earth could have been based on a true story. It's just.
Did you read the John Travolta thing?
Make it. Why did something happen with him recently?
No, but Battlefield Earth, it was a passion project for his and what you wanted to...
Oh, yeah, Scientology.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. No, I know a lot about that movie. I just...
You've never seen it?
I've never sat down and watched the entire thing. I've seen enough reviews to know what it's about.
I've seen that movie probably 5 or 6 times.
My brother in Christ. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Well... Listen, it came out in like 99 or something like that, and it was one of the Speed 2 Cruise Control. Kind of around that time where HBO was accessible, PG-13 films, not a lot of plot going on, so it was easy for a 9-year-old to watch. Mm-hmm. And it had like cool special effects and weird camera shots, so it really kept my attention.
Definitely had weird camera shots, that's for sure.
We'll talk about it sometime.
Someday.
I'm pretty sure because it popped up and I didn't realize that. I was like,
that's a movie I forgot that existed until yesterday.
I never will.
Yeah.
And you could bring up Battlefield Earth at any time. I'll be like Barry Pepper, John Travolta, Forrest Whitaker. Mm-hmm. Like Barry Pepper being the leader of Earth.
A raucous good time.
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. And then it's him with his like, we've got to find an escape to get out of here.
Spellbinding.
Yeah, and then it's him like he's up like looking like with a staff over the battlefield.
Uh huh.
Yeah, and then it's John Travolta doing Anyways, Titanic, great choice.
Yes. And finally, our last answer is from Levi. The Book Thief. Beautiful movie, but it requires an emotional investment. I know it wasn't super well received, which is sad.
I had to look this up on IMDb because
I looked it up on Letterboxd.
Yeah, I feel like I heard it came out in 2014, 2013.
The title sounds familiar, but I don't know really anything about it.
So that was the issue because it's The Book Thief, and then I was looking, I was like, I guess maybe I don't.
It's a cool title. I like
it's got
the sound of it.
Well, but not only that, The Book Thief is pretty. It's like one of those things, like if you did, God, way to go, Mac! You're doing a great job. Like if you had a car movie and you're just like, yeah, we, the title of this the movie is,
The Car Thief.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's probably just two very general terms thrown together where it's like, Oh yeah, that sounds like that should be a movie.
It almost sounds like a young adult kind of novel movie type thing.
If I heard The Book Thief, I would have guessed it's about like an orphan or about like a kid that goes into a library to get smarter and becomes friends with like the librarian, and they call him the Book Thief because he walks out with knowledge. So it's one of those like kind of like a slap on the wrist kind of crime.
Yeah.
You know, and then the librarian ends up becoming good friends with the kid, and they find out that the kid's like, it's like the prelude to Good Will Hunting. You know, it'd be like Will becoming friends with the chick librarian in there, and it kind of becomes into this weird relationship, and then there's some growth, and then the librarian understands what it's like to, that they can love and they can form a relationship, and the kid finds out that not all authoritative figures are bad, and then it's, but then there's going to be obviously some conflict where they steal like a book that's worth a lot only to read it, but then the librarian's like, you wanted to sell it, and it's like, no, I didn't, and then the police get involved, and then they kind of like, well, you guys were seen hanging out, and then they kind of get roped into like, all right, now we're gonna, now we got to get out of this thing, and then they learn that their bond goes well above, like money and monetary value. Let's see what it's really about.
Levi, I don't think I need to see the movie.
No, I don't know what this thing's about. That's what my guess would be.
So on Letterboxd, the summary of it says, while subjected to the horrors of World War II Germany, young Liesel finds solace by stealing books and sharing them with others. Under the stairs in her home, a Jewish refugee is being sheltered by her adoptive parents.
Oh.
So, yeah, it sounds like it's a World War II drama kind of backdrop of Nazi Germany type thing with a lot of, like, sort of emotional beats, I guess.
I guess so. 7.5 stars on IMDb.
I was gonna say it's got a 3.5 on Letterboxd, which out of 5 is not bad.
Who directed this? Brian Percival. What'd Brian do? What have you done, Brian? I'm judging you right now. Oh, not a lot of. Oh, Downton Abbey. Okay, The Boy and the Dad.
A lot of old school like genre movies like Shakespeare, The Old Curiosity Shop.
Okay, that sounds perverted.
It looks like a lot of like sort of Victorian kind of 18th, 19th century type movies.
So The Book Thief was like right up his alley.
Yeah. It seems like that would be the type of movie that he is into based on his filmography.
I just pulled up A Boy Called Dad. I thought it said it was a boy who called dad, but it's a boy called dad. And all he ever wanted was a dad.
Interesting.
Said he gets something very different. He gets a son. A 14-year-old kid gets a son. Boy, that sounds heavy. Anyways.
Okay. Interesting premise.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Book Thief, yeah. I mean, I think I added it to my watch list after I saw his answers, so I'll check it out sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to, you know what we
up.
have to get going one of these times is like once every other month or something like that, we got to figure out something we just take in a bunch of recommendations and we auto-generate something that we pick it out of a hat.
Just kind of like Wheel of Fortune kind of thing.
Yeah, like you like everyone goes in there, you get a number, we write down everyone's number or something like that, or you spin the wheel, and then whatever one it lands on, that's the movie that we're going to watch. And then it really works out. So if we only have one person that comments, your film's going to get watched. So,
right. Someone's guaranteed to be happy.
Well, we hope so. Either that or no one says anything. And then we're out of an episode.
Thanks, Levi.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. But no, seriously, thank you guys for answering the question. I'm just going to quickly scroll through, make sure I didn't miss anybody.
Oh, maybe did I got?
Nope, I got everyone.
You did?
Yes.
Even on, I said something to anyone. Maybe people don't love.
Did you have anybody comment on yours?
I don't know. That's what I want to see.
That's what I want to know. Do I want to know if this feeling flows both ways? Sad to see you go. Sort of hoping that you'd stay.
Oh wait, what if I do this? Oh, you're singing? I forgot. We're still talking into a mic. Nope, I got one like.
It wasn't me.
Oh, probably. Let's find out. I don't know how to do it. Nope. Oh no, I don't know. Anyway, you know how these things go.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for answering the question. I guess we can talk about our picks. So
You have a pick?
I have a pick.
You go first while I quickly think about mine.
Okay. I watched a movie recently called Threads. It is a 1984 British television movie, like BBC movie, and it is about a nuclear fallout in this city in Britain. And it is one of the most bleak movies I think I've seen in terms of just that subject matter. Like it shows you a lot, and it's very visceral, and there's no music throughout the entire thing. It just is very face value, shows you what would happen in scenarios like that, and it's just it feels really hopeless, like the whole movie. And
yes,
you just can't help but like be enthralled by what's going on. And that movie is great, but I don't think I could ever watch it again, just because it's very bleak and taxing. And after I watched it, I just kind of sat there for an hour just thinking about life.
Oh, yeah. If that's so, yes. You said good films that you could only watch once, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My voice is dying.
That's it? That's for Threads?
Yes.
Okay. No, I just saw my Primer.
Okay.
The great film. That one, I remember staring at the stars, just thinking to myself, what does it all mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, there's been a couple movies that I've ever watched, and depending on like my headspace of like way above my pay grade, I watched that one and was like, that wasn't even that much money to make that thing, and how fucking smart those guys were, just staring like, I'll never make it. Like midlife crisis just after watching Primer.
It's more so just about how the movie makes you feel.
I watched it with 4 other friends, and we all went outside. We were kind of like, just hanging out, and none of us talked. Mm-hmm. Like it was like one of those films where like you wanted to say something, and then it's like after what I just saw, anything that I'd say would be like fucking insanely stupid.
It'd be a disservice to the movie we just witnessed.
Yeah, like what did you guys think? And like you just say it, and your head would go down. Like why did I even say that? What that doesn't. Yeah, Primer was it. Primer's probably the one that I would be like that was. I think I got that like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 on my films, but yeah. Unless it gets recommended to me, will never. I assure you, I could care less about people that want to tell me how it works. Mm-hmm. Like we've seen The Thing. Get the whole. Yeah. I don't need to commit that to memory. I just need to know that it's there and that a guy came up with that, and it all makes sense.
You just need to know that somebody put in the work,
and it's really like it's genuine and it's factual, not like they didn't come up with that. Like I would be more pissed off if I watched that thing and it was just a big ball of yarn. Anything. Yeah, like it just nothing connected. So like when you did it, like you just untangled it, it just was nothing.
There's no substance behind it.
Yeah,
like the reason that movie works so well is because like it is a plot that happens, but it's a puzzle piece. It's a lot of like pieces that you can put together to form a whole picture
with like fucking 1,200 different outcomes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like I like the ones that there's like 5. Like that's good enough thinking for me. Not the ones that when you click on the picture, it has to shrink it down to show you all the information.
Right.
Like that's when I'm like, all right, this is way too sophisticated for me. Like I'm supposed to pick all this up in 90 minutes.
The PNG file size is just enormous.
Yeah, like you can't load it up. Please save it to your USB drive.
You need 3 monitors to look at this whole picture at once.
Like, okay. Like, and then the best part is like, that movie's 86 minutes long. Mm-hmm. So good luck picking all that up.
Right.
I do want to find someone though that sees it, and I lead up with you won't figure it out or you won't get it, and then them just do the watch me.
Yeah. They just deep dive into it.
Yep.
So speaking of deep dive, I'm gonna deep dive into
the next movie,
my film pick recommendation.
All right.
So,
do you think I'll be able to get to this one too?
Maybe.
Really?
So,
what hints do I get?
Well, I'll have a little lead up, and you can guess as I'm leading it up.
All right.
So we kind of missed the ball last year with October. We didn't really talk about that many horror movies.
Who the fuck says it's our pod? We do whatever we want.
Yes, but this year, for Halloween, I want to touch on a horror film.
We're going to touch on a bunch of them because I'm going to recommend them too, and it's my turn. Just to give you the heads up.
Excellent. So this movie came out in 1999. It sort of pioneered a specific genre of movie. Not necessarily invented it, but just kind of perfected it in a way.
Perfected a horror subgenre in 1999?
The found footage subgenre.
Blair Witch Project?
I want to talk about the Blair Witch Project.
Nice. This is on Paramount Plus. I almost showed Jasmine last night.
Oh.
Yeah. It was on there, and I was like, I don't remember what we ended up watching after.
I might as well keep my subscription then. I was totally planning on canceling
it's $5 a month. Like, just cut out like getting two well, don't do that, but something that costs $5 that you could afford to lose.
So yeah, that's my recommendation. The Blair Witch Project.
You want to watch? You want to do the first and the second one? Because I saw the second one in theaters.
I was thinking we talk about the original movie and then also Barbarian.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Let's do it.
You brought up Barbarian, and I was like,
I'm totally,
I'm totally
in. Let's do Blair Witch and Barbarian.
Yes.
Dope.
I want to talk about those two movies.
Okay.
So yeah. Thank you guys for listening. If you don't want to be spoiled for the Blair Witch Project or Barbarian, be sure to check those movies out before episode 30.
Dirty 30. Woo!
Dirty 30. This episode coming up is going to have a midlife crisis.
Yes, I was just about to say they're going to ask itself a lot of things.
It's going to ask what its purpose is.
What if like halfway through the episode it's just like we're just talking and it goes
yeah,
and then it's like we just can't.
It gives you advertisements for Corvettes.
Yeah. No.
You need a new car.
Slacks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
New Balance.
Shop at Kohl's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not maybe to that extent.
I was going to say, I already shop at Kohl's.
Probably nice like brown loafers or something like that. Where you're like, it's got Dr. Scholl's in there and it's off. It's 20% off.
Like the boat shoes, like that's just the slip-ons.
Yeah, I have those. I got those for my 31st birthday.
Oh.
They were bought for me. I stare at them.
They already knew.
I guess this is where we're going.
This is where my life is headed. So yeah, be sure to check those movies out before episode 30. Appreciate you guys. You can find us on myvoicesdying.com. That's not the real website. Don't go to there.
Please don't, because we don't want you to get a virus.
Yes.
Pardon the pun.
Do go to www.neoncrewpodcast.com. I recently updated everything, so most all the new episodes should be on there, and I switched up a little bit of our bio pictures, just to kind of update them.
Nice.
Because in mine, I still had hair, and
okay.
I included the picture of you in the Big Trouble in Little China outfit.
God, that's such a great picture.
I know. That's why I picked it.
It's 25 pounds ago.
Well, the costume is what counts.
That's what we all say. Speaking of costumes.
Halloween's coming up soon. Get your candy or whatever. But more importantly, watch those horror movies.
Yeah, we're going to do that. And then I think we got the next one. I'm just giving a little snippet for a month from now, I guess. Yeah, but I got two lined up, too, that will probably, I think. Well, one that I'll recommend, but the other one I think warrants a discussion.
Okay.
Possibly guest feature.
Ooh.
Probably not. I wish I could do it with him, though. This movie, the two that I got are going to be bangers.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, various social medias. And thank you guys so much for listening. Mac, any parting words?
If you catch yourself in a Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournament, just remember, WWTHD.
Bye, everyone.